And good evening, hockey fans, and what is going on? And yes, the dynamic duo is back alongside Kyle Manifold. My name is Neil Villapiano. We welcome you to this Stanley Cup Finals edition of Live Watch Along right here on the Hockey Podcast Network. Tonight is Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals with the Vegas Golden Knights now up 3-1. They are one win away from winning the franchise's first ever Stanley Cup. And this game will be in the Sin City of Las Vegas. And the big news coming out of this game, Matthew Tkachuk will not be in the lineup for the Florida Panthers. He is out due to an injury. So the Florida Panthers down 3-1, also depleted, losing their top player. This is going to be a challenge. And for the Golden Knights, they have to play a great 60 minutes of hockey. And if they do, they will lift the Stanley Cup by the night's end. But before we get into all that, Kyle, it's good to see you, my friend. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of excited. Like I part of me hopes that we can see the cup tonight because it just seems only fitting after a great run that we've had so far in the playoffs. Everyone's done a great job, and it would be nice to see if it gets done tonight. If it doesn't, it's going to get very interesting in Game 6. But yeah, I'm excited. Like the Tkachuk, him not playing tonight. I think that dropped 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to see like if Vegas wins tonight, like you know how they do the pregame, how they get all hyped up and all that. I want to see what that looks like if they win tonight. But you're right, like they have to play a full 60 minutes. It's going to be the hardest game of their lives to win tonight. I even think it's a big blow to lose Matthew Tkachuk, but I don't think it's going to faze Florida that much. I think they know that This will kind of feel like a Game 7 tonight because if this does go back to Florida, and I just mentioned this before we hopped on, if it goes back to a Game 6, and I think you mentioned it too, that we could very likely see a Game 7 because Tkachuk gets some rest, they have hope, and they know they're one win away from a Game 7 winner-take-all, right? So it's important tonight for them to get it done, and we'll see what happens.
We certainly will see what happens. Again, we're about 15 minutes away, or so away from the start of this one tonight. We already have a couple of score predictions in the chat. Don't forget, guys, to leave your score predictions in the chat before this one gets underway. As always, shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for being the official sports betting partner of the Hockey Podcast Network. And don't forget, when you sign up, use our promo code THPN. So shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring everything we do here at THPN. We got some comments already. Angus is in the chat, doing pretty well. Looking forward to another exciting call here on the YouTube channel. Hopefully, it's not the last one for the season, but I did mention it during game number 3, and we'll mention it again here tonight. We have a big NHL Draft live extravaganza, as I put it, that we will be doing for the first round of the NHL Draft. And of course, the two main hosts are myself, Kyle Manifold. We also will be accompanied by hosts of the podcast of the teams that will be selecting throughout the night. So it's going to be a lot of fun when we get that out there. Make sure to like it. Make sure to share with your family and friends and subscribe as well. And get ready. It's going to be a lot of fun in about 2 weeks from now, I believe.
What's today? The 13th? Yeah, so it's about 2 weeks. Yep.
About 2 weeks away from that.
Don't forget about the giveaway. Don't forget about a big giveaway.
And that's right. That's a good point. Thank you, Kyle. We also will be doing a giveaway as well. I think we're doing multiple ?
Multiple. We'll keep it quiet.
We're doing multiple. We're doing multiple giveaways during that live watch along, the live extravaganza. So make sure you are there when we go live on the 28th for the first round of the NHL Draft, the Connor Bedard Draft. And that will be obviously not much drama, maybe in the first couple of picks. But you know what? There's always going to be interesting moves that get made, even moves that have nothing to do with the draft. We might see some draft day trades of big names maybe going to different teams. So there's going to be a lot to talk about, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are there for that. But again, we are here, Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And as we saw in game number 4, again, Panthers tried to make a comeback at the end, but it fell just short. Vegas held on, and took the 3-1 lead. And it's going to be quite the challenge for Florida, but they've been here before. Remember, first round series against Boston, they were down 3-1, came all the way back and won it 7. The only difference, Matthew Tkachuk is not in the lineup, but there are other guys like Alexander Barkov, Anthony Duclair, Carter Verhaeghe, and a bunch more that can still step up when they need to. Sergei Bobrovsky, I think, to me, is going to be the guy I want to keep my eye on the most because he's the one that could get it started. Because you know, Kyle, the first couple of minutes of this game, Vegas is probably going to come out flying, trying to get the first goal, trying to get everything rolling here. And I think for Bobrovsky, he just has to stand tall, at least early on, and so that Florida can kind of take a breath and just focus in on the game.
I'd like to see how Vegas starts tonight because, they could come out flying, but I'd like to see if they have a little bit of nerves too, knowing that, you have a chance to end it all tonight or, because again, if it goes to 6, man, it can be very interesting to see if this goes 7, right? But kind of touching on looking back into last game a little bit and how that game ended. I'm assuming you saw how that game ended there in Game 4, where I think what I'm more curious about tonight is how the game is going to get called tonight, right? In Game 3, you saw, I think it was a fair amount of penalties, at least in the first 2 games too as well. But then you go back into Game 4 where there was, I think they said there was a tripping call. There was puck over glass, which is automatic. And then you had 4 penalties at the very end of the game because of the mad brawl that they had afterwards, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which probably wouldn't have started if Brandon Montour didn't skate all the way in and hit Brandon McNabb from behind. So I'm curious to see how the game is going to get called tonight, right? Because you saw 2 penalties. One was automatic and one was kind of a phantom tripping call-ish.
Right.
So I'd like to see how it gets called. But you're right. I think Bobrovsky is probably going to be the guy that you're going to look at now that Tkachuk's out of the lineup. I think even then, though, too, for me, a guy who's been very quiet has been Alexander Barkov. They're showing the lineups here for Game 5 for Florida. So Barkov will be with Duclair and Lundell. You got Verhaeghe now up with Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart. Lomberg with Eric Stahl and Nick Cousins, who's been quiet this series too. Denisenko, who's in place of Matthew Tkachuk, will go in with Colin White and Zach Dalpe. I think the one guy that still stands out to me, though, is going to be Barkov, right? You're the leader of this team. You're the captain, right? And even though your best guy is down, that just means that he has to step up to a bigger role. It can't just all be Bobrovsky tonight or you're going to lose this game. So, I think, and then we'll kind of get our predictions as the game gets a little bit closer here because we got a couple we haven't talked in a while. So I feel like we got a lot to discuss throughout the game. A lot of news. We mentioned, we haven't talked about Damon Severson sign and trade. The Senators got bought today. The Rangers hired Laviolette. There's a lot of stuff to get into today. Calgary got a new head coach, not a big deal. And
not a big deal to many except you, my friend.
Except for me. And the Flyers added Patrick Sharp to their front office.
I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Stanley Cup Finals is still going on. Pretty much every other team in the NHL is already making moves for next year. And, there's obviously a lot of – the thing that is so interesting is the Columbus Blue Jackets. They have become the most interesting team in the early goings of the offseason because it has been reported that by the end of this month, Mike Babcock will be the next head coach of Columbus. Don't really know how to feel about that. Not a fan of it. And then the Blue Jackets decided to one-up themselves by acquiring, in a pretty big trade, Ivan Provorov from the Philadelphia Flyers. And, obviously he was in a lot of controversy during the year, and it was obviously not great. And Provorov is still a solid defenseman, but I think considering what Columbus gave up, it seems like a little bit of an overreach of it. And then the sign and trade for Damon Severson, surprising, but yet not surprising.
What was the term on that?
8 years, $50 million.
So that made out to what, $5 million a year?
Something like that.
5 or 6 million a year?
Yeah, it's an overpay. Because
really?
I'm speaking as somebody who watched David Severson for the last 9 years.
By all means.
Really quick, he's such a curious case. 1 minute, he makes a great defensive play or scores a big-time goal. The next minute, he's shooting the puck into his own net.
Right.
And he is an analytical data. A lot of the people who are very big on the analytics, especially If you look at The Athletic, they love Damon Severson for what it looks like on the analytics. Damon Severson is a good top four defenseman. Putting him on the top two pairing may not be the smartest idea, in my opinion. I think for the Devils, it's good that they got something for him, considering they had no chance of re-signing him long term.
Right.
To get a pick in this draft, I honestly think was pretty good. It's 80th overall. The pick is actually originally from Calgary.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know where it came from originally. I went from Calgary to somebody else, and then it went to Columbus. So I'm not sure exactly where it came from.
I have no idea.
I don't know what deal that was. I have no idea what deal this was, but I will say this. And again, we mentioned before, that was just the second sign and trade in NHL history behind Matthew Tkachuk going from Calgary to Florida last summer. I will say this really quickly as well. It probably won't be the last sign and trade that we see from New Jersey. I think you're going to see the Devils try to get value for some of their UFAs. Ryan Graves is an example. Mackenzie Blackwood as well. And that might be it. We'll see if anybody else goes. But it'll be really interesting. Devils still have to re-sign Jesper Bratt. It's reported by Pierre LeBrun that he got a max 8-year deal, but now his agent and Bratt might be thinking shorter term because the salary cap is going to be going up over the next couple of years. So he might get a shorter deal. I don't know. We'll see. But as far as Columbus is concerned, they said that they were going to rebuild, and now they're not really doing it. So I don't know what the direction is for that, and I guess only time will tell with that. You mentioned Calgary hiring Huska as their next head coach. It was an in-house option. He seems to be very well liked in the organization and in the locker room. So I guess considering where Calgary is and where they are going, it's not that bad of a move. And I think, I want to get your thoughts on that real quick.
Yeah, because there was talks with him, Mitch Love, who I wasn't really familiar with. So I don't know if some of the candidates that they were looking at, but I liked the direction that Craig Conroy was going in with. I love Ryan Huska. I think he's going to fit in beautifully. Like, it's nice to have a guy, especially you like to see a guy who's gotten credit for his journey kind of up the ladder a little bit, and he's been an assistant for a long time. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be the head coach. I think that for a guy who's probably behind the shadows of Daryl Sutter for, let's just say, last year, right? Just for the sake of what happened. There were probably a lot of Flames players in Backlund, Huberdeau, and these guys who were clearly upset. They probably were talking to him quite a bit, saying, look, we're going to make the best of it as best we can. Now that they know they have him, it's a guy that they can probably trust. It's a guy that, I'm assuming Craig Conroy has had a chance to talk to Jonathan Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri, Mackenzie Weegar down the line. And it's a guy that they can probably trust. And, now that they can implement some game plans going into this offseason. So I think it's going to be a busy offseason. I hear a lot of rumblings that the number 3 pick is up in the air with Columbus and Elias Lindholm. I think it's starting to heat up again. It went quiet, but I've been seeing on my Twitter that it's starting to heat up again. I don't hate it. There's also talks of Noah Hannafin looking to get dealt too, which I don't hate because we're pretty deep defensively. There's a lot of guys that we can look at in the defense, in our defensive unit. And plus you can go in free agency. You can sign guys for $1 million or whatever it may be now that Lucic is gone and, his $5 million cap is gone. See you later. And I mean, hey, I didn't think we were giving up Tkachuk, and look where he is now, right? So,
To me, it's never say never, right? You never know when things could actually happen.
I don't know these things. I don't know. It could happen. It might not happen. I don't know.
Maybe not.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. We got a couple weeks before the draft.
And we will also talk throughout the night of some other news that has happened throughout the National Hockey League as well during the intermission reports and when we have some break in the action here. But really quickly, Kyle, obviously it's Game 5. Vegas up 3-1. We got to do our score predictions. Okay. And we'll start with you. Do you think it ends tonight?
Yeah, but I'm cautious because when everyone goes one way, it always seems to happen to go the other way.
Right.
I agree that I like Vegas tonight. I don't think it's going to be a blowout compared to game 1 and game 2. I think this is going to be the hardest game for Vegas to win tonight. And the Florida Panthers, regardless if they don't have Matthew Tkachuk, they're going to throw everything they can at him tonight. I like Vegas to end it tonight. I like a close game. I think Vegas wins it 4-3 in overtime.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm pretty much in line with what you're saying. I think Florida's going to give it their all. I think they're going to really put a lot of pressure on Vegas. And remember, this is the first time that they've been this close to winning a championship, and they're in front of their home crowd. I'm sure that they do feel a lot of pressure going into this game, and it'll be curious to see how they handle that type of pressure. So it's going to be interesting. And I think it will also be a close game. I'm also going to go 4-3 Vegas in overtime. I just think it's going to be back and forth. I think we're going to get a lot of really good action tonight. And I think it's going to end in dramatic fashion. And who knows? Maybe Alec Martinez, who has a Game 5 game-winning goal to win the Stanley Cup in his career, maybe he's got another one in him tonight. We'll see.
We'll have to see. And no place better to do it in Vegas, right? So,
absolutely.
But what people are forgetting too, so he's nursing, it's a shoulder injury, correct?
Correct. He is dealing with a shoulder injury.
What people are forgetting is that even though Vegas was up 3-0 in game 4, that game could have been done in the second period, but they played a majority of that game with Tkachuk only having a couple of shifts. He didn't play a lot in game 4, and it's still like the Panthers had a chance to tie the game in what's today? Tuesday. On Saturday night? Was it Saturday?
Saturday, yep.
Saturday, yeah. Anyway, but okay. I'm getting heat for that number 3 pick. I'm just reading shit. I don't know.
He's just reading stuff. Let the man read his stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm reading things. I know it would be crazy to give up the number 3 pick, but would they say no if it's Elias Lindholm, Noah Hannafin, the Flames' first-round pick, and a second?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Right?
I don't know. We try to play junior GM, but like at the end of the day, we really don't know what teams value and everything like that. So we'll certainly keep our eye on that. They're doing the national anthem right now. But really quickly, Kyle, I wanted to bring up this stat that was brought to my attention. Yep. Jonathan Marchessault, who in my opinion is the front runner to win the Conn Smythe as playoff MVP. Here are his rankings in these playoffs. Total goals, 13, which is tied for first. Total expected goals, 8.19, tied. That's first. Expected goals per 60, 1.37. That's third best. Scoring chances per 60 is kind of interesting. 6.02, which is 26th in the playoffs.
Really?
And then shots from the slot per 60, 9.69, 14th. One-timers per 60, 4.51, which is 18th. Total one-timers from the slot, 15, and that's second best. And also, 4 of the 13 playoff goals have been scored off of one-timers from the slot, including Marchessault's Stanley Cup Final Game 1 goal, tied with teammate Chandler Stevenson for second most, and behind Leon Draisaitl, who has 5. Wow. So, Jonathan Marchessault has been unreal in these playoffs.
Yep.
And I think he's still on a point streak, if I remember correctly.
Yep. If I remember this too, I think Stevenson and Carlson both have over 10 goals or whatever, if it's 10 or 11 goals, something like that. Jack Eichel, I don't think has scored in the Cup final yet.
He is not.
How fucking wild is that? Marchessault deserves Conn Smythe, depending on how this game goes tonight.
Jacob's really hoping tonight is the night. And this would be the night to do it. If you're going to win the Cup for Eichel, I think tonight would be the night to really, find a way to get that goal and obviously get himself going.
And looking at Sam here too, Eric and Mark Stahl have an impact tonight. Do they? Do you think
Sam he covers the Hurricanes here on THPN, so.
Right. I would think so too, because they're probably looking at this I would imagine they're probably retiring soon.
I would imagine so.
So they're probably going to lay it all on the line tonight as, okay, I'm drawing a blank. Who's the guy that's
50 Cent.
50 Cent, thank you. Oh my God.
50 Cent cranking up the horn or whatever they call it. I don't even know what they call it. The siren, I guess. I feel like though that was started by Carolina. I have that when I think of that, I think of Carolina doing it. But here we go, Kyle. It's Game 5. Does Vegas get it done tonight, or are we going to have a Game 6 in a couple of days? Florida sports not doing so well, or Miami sports is not doing so well after the Heat losing in the finals last night. And we'll see if Florida can avoid the same fate. So here we go, guys. As the players are at center ice, the puck is dropped in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals is officially underway. So, Kyle, what are you looking for from both teams here in the early goings?
I think I mentioned it before where I just want to see how Vegas comes out here because I'm not sure if they're going to be nervous or if they're going to come out flying, right? Knowing that the information that they have with Tkachuk being out. I think the Panthers have no fear right now, and I think they felt no fear throughout the whole playoffs considering they've already been down 3-1.
Yeah, I think that, we mentioned it before. This is very similar territory for the Florida Panthers. They've been here before. Obviously, the one difference, as we mentioned, is the fact that Matthew Tkachuk is out for at least this game. Paul Maurice, head coach of Florida Panthers, 54-58 career in the postseason. He's also 9-9 in potential elimination games. So it's a pretty balanced record. But if you think about this, Kyle.
Yeah.
If Paul Maurice can lead the Panthers to a 3-1 comeback and win the Cup, he will still be 1 game below 500 in his NHL playoff career as a head coach.
That's fucked.
That's so messed up. I feel like that would be messed up to see that if that happens. As a shot there from Carrier gets fought off by Bobrovsky.
If he does do this, is Paul Maurice a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so.
No?
Okay. I like Paul Maurice, but like having a below 500 record while also winning a Stanley Cup is like, it becomes here's the thing. Like
I guess now that you think about it, that was kind of stupid.
No, it's not a stupid question. It actually is an interesting question when we really think about it. Yeah. As now Sam Bennett comes in with a shot, and that one is gloved down, and we get a whistle here after a save from Adin Hill.
I like to think I have smart questions from time to time.
You can ask as many questions as you want. Sergei Bobrovsky, Kyle, last 2 games in Vegas for Bobrovsky, awful. 0-2, 5.52 goals against average, and a .796 save percentage.
Yikes. I loved how they were talking about like Alex Leon would be in for Bobrovsky, and I'm like, why would you take him out? Like, it's so stupid. Like, it was funny they were talking about real quick. I was listening yesterday. Like, they were talking about how important goaltending is now, especially going forward with all the teams. Like, this is not a 1 goaltender league anymore, and I think it's been shown throughout the playoffs that you need 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 5 goalies to win the Stanley Cup.
Right. I mean, or you could be the Devils and have 7 goalies and not even come close to making the playoffs. So, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, but Schmidt played well.
That's true. As Ekblad feeds it over now, gets it top of the point, drive from the point, and that one gets blocked in front. And Vegas will come the other way here as Mark Stone will flip it in. Now Chandler Stevenson goes into the corner here. They also, Kyle, did show a graphic which is actually pretty nuts. And that is, as we actually have 2 players down on the ice, Ekblad and Chandler Stevenson kind of pushing each other. That was a little strange. Okay. As now Theodore with a shot that goes wide. But Adin Hill is the first goaltender in Stanley Cup playoff history to win 10 games after not playing in the first round.
What?
That is a wild stat that nobody knew.
I mean, that kind of speaks volumes for their season, too, a little bit.
It does.
Not? Yeah. I think
it does. It does. I know. That's going to be your famous word tonight. That's going to be your famous say. As the takeaway from Lundell. He comes in with a shot, and that one is fought off by Hill. Oh, Anton Lundell with a takeaway. Had all day, tried to go top shelf, but Hill makes the blocker save.
That was good on Hill. I thought he came out. I think he poke checked him, it looked like, right?
I think he tried to poke check him as Eichel goes hard into the boards. But, yeah, I still think good opportunity from Lundell. But better save there from Adin Hill. As a shot from Gudis goes right into his chest. And then Hill with a cross check with the arm on Gudis. And then everybody goes for a man.
Fight.
Yeah, no, I think we've established from the early get-go that these teams hate each other.
I think we established that 2 minutes into game 1.
That's what I was saying. I think early on in the series, yeah, it was pretty much that.
Speaking of which, question. Are we surprised that Adin Hill hasn't got suspended yet?
No.
Because
personally, I'm not surprised.
There were a lot of people. I say that because there was a lot of people online saying that there was a lot of blockers being thrown from Adin Hill. Especially at the end of game 4, how that ended too. The stupid thing is there was like 4 or 5 penalties that were given out, but the game was over, so they meant nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm surprised there was no fines. There was nothing after the game. Like, do something, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you guys got a penalty. You're going to be sitting in the box for 2 minutes. Oh, the game's over. Oh.
Yeah, no, I thought it was kind of stupid.
It is stupid.
God, they're scrambling in front, and that shot from White just goes wide of Hill. As an opportunity there, as Florida has definitely come out with some confidence and also a little bit of a sense of urgency for obvious reasons. And also, you mentioned Kyle Grigory. Denisenko is making his NHL playoff debut. He is in for the injured Matthew Tkachuk. And it would be absolutely hilarious if this guy does something tonight.
Good for him.
Well, he doesn't have any facial hair whatsoever. Like, no playoff beard, no nothing.
He hasn't been a part of it, right?
It's true. It's good opportunity there from, I think that was Lister Reinen, who took, actually it was Denisenko, who actually flipped a shot that just went wide. That nearly got past Adin Hill. So early opportunity for the guy who comes in for Tkachuk.
That's a guy playing with no fear, and I think there should be no fear on him tonight. Like, what does he have to lose, right? Like, if they lose and he doesn't do anything, then it goes on, like life goes on with him. But if he does something spectacular tonight, right? Mm-hmm. He has an opportunity tonight. Go out and
all of a sudden he becomes a hero for Florida. As now Reinhart comes in over to the right side, throws it in front, but it gets blocked. Puck is in the corner. Both teams have a couple of guys there. Verhaeghe intercepts it. He walks it up, backhands it around to the back end, gets it over to Reinhart. Reinhart tries to chip it over to Sam Bennett. Bennett controls it over to Reinhart. Reinhart in the right corner, still with the puck here, the left corner. That one's taken away by Vegas, and they'll backhand it just out. So early on here, Kyle, more of the action has been in the Vegas zone as Florida once again throwing it there on a shot from Verhaeghe goes wide. But Florida definitely playing with no fear early on in this one.
A lot of it too, like I think when I was watching Game 4 in the third period, like Vegas was just kind of standing around and playing on their heels a little bit. Like they weren't taking it to them, being up 3-1, 3-2, whatever it was at the time. Right. And they have to do that to them. They're up against the wall tonight. They're the ones that their season's on the line tonight. Right. Why are you not being the ones to go push for it?
Right. I agree. It's now an opportunity for Vegas with a shot, and that one goes up high, but a good save there from Bobrovsky on Shea Theodore. And so that's kind of the first time that Bobrovsky's been tested, but still a good save there as Shea Theodore took that shot. As it's just right now, I think it is fair to say, Kyle, there might be a little bit of nerves from Vegas just because of where they are and the opportunity that's here for this one.
I agree. I think I'm not, but are you surprised? Like, I don't think any of us are really surprised that this is where we're at with them, right? The chance to have that, we're like, the chance to win the cup and all that. And, it's coming into play. And I think, I don't think outside of Alec Martinez is the only. No, is it only Alec Martinez who's won a cup?
On Vegas, I think. Yeah. I think so. I could be wrong. I'm trying to think. I don't think they have anybody else.
It's Pietrangelo, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Pietrangelo won a cup with St. Louis back in 2019. Yeah. Other than that, they do have Phil Kessel, but he hasn't been playing. People forget that Phil Kessel's on the Golden Knights.
So many memes about him.
He's going to win a third. He might win a third cup. He might win a third cup by doing nothing. Good for him. You know what? Good for Phil Kessel. And it's just funnier because you know what? In the span of Toronto's, trying to get out of the first round, Phil Kessel might have won 3 cups.
It's true. So there. He spent a lot of he kind of wasted a little bit of his career in Toronto, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's what happens to a lot of players who go to Toronto. That's just how it goes. As now Vegas throws it in front. Eichel with a sharp angle try that gets fought off from Bobrovsky. As now Carter Verhaeghe gets up the boards to Lindell. Back to Verhaeghe over to the right side. Comes into the offensive zone. Verhaeghe now skating into the right corner. Eichel intercepts it. Vegas trying to control it here as Martinez now will get it over to Pietrangelo. Feeds it now over to Riley Smith or Barbashev. Leads to Marchessault. Drop pass to Eichel. Eichel drops it now to Martinez. Martinez gets it now to the left face-off dot to Barbashev. Over to Pietrangelo. Now to Jack Eichel in the right corner. Eichel walking it up the right boards. Gets to Pietrangelo. Shot there. Just goes wide of Bobrovsky. And now Bennett will get to it and flip it out.
Eichel, for me, has to score tonight.
I think he certainly does.
He's been too quiet, right?
Now, if he there with a shot from Carlson gets blocked, and then Bobrovsky dives on it and we'll get a whistle. Oh, my goodness, a great chance for the man they call Wild Bill, but he could not get it on net as a good block there from the Florida defenseman. As they also showed for a second there, Kyle, that looks like Brandon Montour might be a little shaken up on the bench.
They showed that, and they showed Verhaeghe kind of slashing Eichel. I'm surprised they didn't call that. And notice that they haven't called anything yet. It's early.
Not yet. It is early. So what do you think, Kyle, so far this game from both teams?
I'm not surprised that this is kind of where it's gone. Like Vegas playing on their heels, Florida playing for their lives tonight. Something I've been noticing too, where a couple of shots that they had there early on, they're all still going high up on Bobrovsky, because earlier on in the playoffs and throughout, Bobrovsky's been locked, shut the door on the lower half of the net, right? So a lot of teams are starting to figure out that, and probably have been watching film saying, hey, he's been exposed, glove side, blocker side, whatever it may be. And I think they've been really trying to take advantage of that. So I think that too, a lot of the goals that's come Vegas' way, I feel like have gone high on Bobrovsky. And, that's just something that we're probably going to see a lot more of tonight.
I think one thing I'm noticing as well, Kyle, is that the Florida defense is doing a much better job of clogging up the slot area, because I think for Vegas, they've had a lot of success making those cross-crease passes to the other side. And right now, Florida's refusing to allow Vegas to set up in that way. And you just saw it there in that opportunity from William Karlsson. That Florida player was able to get over there just in time to block that shot and at least allow Bobrovsky to just cover it to get a whistle. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing, honestly, from both teams. I think even though Vegas looks a little bit, maybe they're dealing with a little bit of nerves, I don't think it's fairly obvious either. I don't think it's one of those things. As Carter Verhaeghe, I think actually might be bleeding. I think he actually got a stick up high on that hit. He actually got hit from Sam Bennett. Or maybe Eichel accidentally got him up high. It's kind of hard to see. But Verhaeghe went into the boards, and then he was a little shaken up on the play. He's still on the bench. It looks like he's got a little bit of a minor cut on the lip, but that's about it.
I haven't seen any replay of that at all. Wow,
I just saw you're on TNT. So
my feet sucks.
I was going to say, where are you watching the game from?
Well, where I'm still in my comfort of my own home in Sudbury. I was visiting my parents the last little bit, and I'm throwing it back on Sportsnet, the nice Canadian channel.
Gotta love it.
Is your feed TNT?
It's just TNT tonight. As a shot from Stahl gets stopped, opportunity and a rebound goes wide. Yeah, TBS is doing a baseball game tonight, so it's just on TNT for this one here tonight.
I kind of like the job that TNT has done throughout the playoffs and then the finals too.
Thank you. I'm glad. Yeah. We had this discussion during game 3. We were talking about it when the last time I was on here about the difference between ESPN and TNT, and I'm leaning more towards TNT because I think they've just done a better job in terms of the product. As Mark Stahl tried to throw it over to Lundell and he missed him. Here comes Kolesar basically by himself, still has some space. Kolesar with the backhand try that is blocker aside by Bobrovsky, but I just think overall it's been a much better product as a drive from Theodore gets stopped by Bobrovsky.
Yeah, and that's the whole point that they've been missing too, is that it's the product that you're trying to sell, right? And they've done a really good job about it. So, yeah, no, I agree. I like the panel that they've had. I think they've done a really good job all playoff long.
And now a penalty coming up here against Florida. It's going to be Aaron Ekblad off they're calling it interference. I don't really see how that was interference.
It was who's 21? Carrier?
It was Howden.
Howden,
who drew the penalty, but I don't really think that was a penalty. Didn't seem like
Howden went into Ekblad, right?
I don't know. It just seemed like a soft call. We'll see it again here on the replay. They're showing it. I mean, Howden gets bumped. And, no, I don't really think that's an interference call. I just don't see that.
That's a pretty soft call.
And we were just talking about it.
Out of all the shit that's happened in the playoffs, they're going to call that.
I know. This is unfortunately what happens. When you get a couple of games in a row where there's just so much going on, the next game, usually you're going to end up getting very strict reps where even the slightest thing that looks like it might be a penalty, the refs are going to call it.
Well, they definitely had a talk with them after game 4 saying, hey, guys, you only called 2 penalties. One was an automatic because it was the puck over the glass, right?
Right.
And so, oh wow, what, you called 4 penalties at the 20-minute mark of the third period, right? Like,
not a good idea.
No, stupid. So here we go. Power play for Vegas. Whatever.
Yeah,
power play, right?
Power play coming up, 12:07 to go in the first. Still no score here. By the way, Kyle, I don't know if you've noticed, but on TNT they have this thing called Stanley Cup Bingo, which basically like you could like have a bingo card and like you could win prizes. So like you like check things off if they happen in the game. What do you think of that? I feel like that's kind of an interesting tactic.
So sorry, like throughout the game, there's a bingo.
Yeah,
card?
it's like you have like a bingo card, and then it's like different thing. You get it, like it's just like randomly generated, and you. It's kind of cool actually.
So what is it like? So one square is like if Eichel scores, or like, you know what I mean? Like, is it something like that, or okay?
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much like a standard bingo type of thing.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
I haven't tried it personally. Maybe I'll try it for Game 6. I don't know, but
do you have to go on to TNT to do that?
You have to like scan their QR code, or like I think you could go on NHL.com. It might be an NHL thing, not a TNT thing, but
right.
As Jack Eichel with a shot and he fans on it. Vegas on the power play here. Theodore gives it over to Marchessault with a shot. That one is stopped by Bobrovsky, and the rebound goes wide. Chandler Stevenson gets it over to Stone. Top of the point to Theodore. Gets it over to Eichel. Tip in front there from Marchessault, and it goes right into the chest of Bobrovsky, and he covers.
He's locked in tonight, man. That's such a good save. Holy
that was a fantastic save from number 72 there. Great passing sequence. Theodore to Eichel to Marchessault. And again, Kyle, we talked about Marchessault being open in the slot. That's where he's gotten a lot of his goals. Granted, it was a tip-in shot, but still a great opportunity for number 81. But Bobrovsky just in really good position to make the save.
I can't count the amount of times where, like, for Bobrovsky, a lot of his saves, right? And he doesn't give up a lot of rebounds, it looks like, because it's all chest area, right? Where it comes, like, right at him and he just tucks it, right? And he doesn't give up a lot of rebounds. So if you're going to beat Bobrovsky, you got to be a little bit more creative than that.
And you mentioned before, a lot of those goals that Vegas has scored have gone up high, glove side, and obviously, and also just creating a traffic in front of Bobrovsky. A lot of the power play goals Vegas has scored, traffic in front of the net, and they've just created a lot of problems. And so I think that's something Vegas has to get back to here as Stevenson comes in, tries to toe drag it. It's intercepted by Brandon Montour. He can't get it out. Theodore now over to Marchessault. Toe drag shot. That one gets blocked. Puck is loose. And now Lundell gets to it. He tries to clear. He cannot. Puck is still loose. And eventually Barkov will get to it. He'll wait it out. Still shorthanded. Still in the offensive zone. Walks it back. And we'll give it over now to his defenseman, Listerainen, and he'll dump it in with 25 seconds to go in this power play. I think it's been a solid one for the most part for Vegas, but haven't been able to get a whole lot through to Bobrovsky here.
I can't tell if this game's going to break open or not. If Florida scores, I think there's going to be a response, but I feel like if Vegas scores, do you feel like the floodgates will open?
I think it's too early to tell.
It is early.
It's hard to see. It's hard to tell as power play comes to an end. So good job for Florida to kill that off. Team's back to even strength. Still no score here in this first period. As now that's Eric Stahl, tries to walk it over, but it gets taken away from Pietrangelo. Now will dump it back in to Florida zone with 9:50 to go here in this first period. I know they have two of the Stahl brothers on here. Now Kolesar has it, feeds it over to Smith, and he whiffed on it. Oh my goodness, Riley Smith in the slot. Would have had a beautiful chance there, but he fanned on it.
You can't. Come on. You're right there, man. Unless it went over and did a little puck wobble and hopped over, man. Come on.
Is now Carter Verhaeghe into the zone here as he gets checked off the puck. William Carrier gets to it, but a whistle blown, and we're getting a penalty. For what? Kolesar's going to the box for Vegas. So we'll see it again here on the replay just a moment. Kolesar does not like it. As we'll see again on the replay what happened. Kolesar checks Bennett sort of into the boards. Oh, it was the second. He pushed Bennett then on the second one on a cross check, and that's what it was. So
come on.
That's kind of I don't disagree with the call. I just think that's a dumb play by Kolesar.
Oh, it's stupid. It's have you guys not have they not learned their lesson?
No.
Right?
No, no, they haven't. They have
The best
not.
is when like guys will do like extra shit like that, and then they'll go to the refs after and be like,
Why?
what did I do? Like,
Right. It's like what? Like, what do you mean? What have you done? You're acting like you've never gotten a penalty in your life. But now Florida, who just killed off a penalty, now they get their first crack at the power play. So an opportunity here, Kyle, for the Panthers to get on the board first. And like I've said this before, it just seems this way. I've noticed it a lot watching hockey, that the second a team kills off a penalty, they for some reason will then get a power play like a minute later, and then they'll score on it. So I have a hunch that Florida might get it here, but we'll see.
I'm curious what their power play unit looks like now. Who's replacing Kachuk on that first power play unit?
That's a really good question. I mean, we'll certainly see what they decide to do when we get to it.
Denisenko's going in.
Yeah, no, Denisenko's going to be on the bingo card tonight.
Oh yeah, nobody would have had that. Denisenko hat trick tonight.
Oh, it would have been no. It'll be like who was the guy on Dallas during the bubble that had like an unreal playoff, and he had a strange name. I'm blanking on it.
Your goalie?
Kiviranta? Yeah, that was it. Kiviranta. Do you remember Kiviranta? Remember he had that like unreal like conference finals against Vegas?
Hold on, I have a great stat here. Power play percentage by round, Florida 25% against Boston 33%, 28%, 0.
Yeah, they still have yet to score power play goals. So
but yeah, Stevie Ronto was incredible. Sorry.
This might, we'll see if they can turn the tide here. Also, by the way, Florida 8-3 on the road in these postseason.
Yes.
So,
and if you guys have any questions too, don't feel shy, and you can always ask us and we'll answer them.
Absolutely. As now the Panthers start the power play, Montour with a shot that goes high and wide of the net. As now Barkov gets it over to Bennett, now to Montour. Florida 0 of 13 on the power play in these finals. So we'll see if they can do something here as Montour can't keep it in, or I thought he kept it in. No, he did not. So we get an offsides here with a minute 40 to go on that power play.
It looked like he did.
I think it was kind of like he was hoping that he kept it in, but I think it just came out of the zone. Like Sasha Barkov, who, by the way, I'm still not used to calling him Sasha Barkov because that's not what he's in. Neil is hiding. Yeah, okay. The honest truth, here, let me explain. The honest truth is that my stomach is not doing well today. So me having a glass of wine may not be the smartest move, on my opinion. I think Kyle doesn't care. Yeah, Kyle doesn't care if I'm not feeling well.
Off your stomach.
All right, I'll get one in a little bit. By the way, last team without a power play goal in the final, the 1948 Detroit Red Wings when they lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting random stats tonight.
I mean, the stats guys do a good job, but I feel
they need to be paid more. They just need to be paid top dollar because they find stuff. A feed over backhand try by Barkov and a better save from Hill, and the puck comes out of the zone.
3 guys on Vegas did not even see that pass.
Yeah, Barkov came right around them, did not even see them. Is now a takeaway here. Stone might be a 2-on-1 short-handed. Stone waits, still with it, shot, and he scores! Mark Stone goes top. And he scores short-handed, and Vegas strikes first in Game 5. It's 1-0.
What patience. What patience.
He waited that out to the very last second. And Kyle, where did he shoot that puck?
Left side.
Glove side, top shelf. Mark Stone, the captain, gets it going for Vegas.
I mean, I had a 1-in-4 shot of getting that right. But still, like, they're going high, glove side. That's what they've been doing all playoffs along with in the final. Great. Oh, my God. Barkov almost had it.
And that's the thing. You think about it. Just seconds ago, Barkov looked like he might have a chance to score. And then a takeaway by Stone creates the 2-on-1.
Wow.
And he ends up scoring. And now,
oh, my God.
Vegas, with 8 minutes to go, is up 1-0.
He made Montour look stupid.
That is true.
He really did all the way past the net, and he just waited him out.
Like I said, he waited to the very last second. So Mark Stone with the big-time goal. Florida still with 20 seconds to go in this power play, but Vegas clears. By the way, shout out to our good buddy Sam Wallace from the Caniac Report here on THPN. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hefty Duck is saying, let's go Vegas. We have Jesse L. Martinez from Twitch saying, go Knights, go. Thank you, Jesse. We are live, not only on YouTube, but on Twitch and Facebook as well. So if you guys want to find a way to watch us, you can watch us in 3 different ways.
Yep.
Also,
just real quick. Oh, hello. You were right, kind of, by the way, where you were like...
Hold on a second. Riley Smith with a drive, and that one is gloved and covered by Bobrovsky as Riley Smith looked to double the lead, but a good response save there from Bobrovsky. But the Vegas Golden Knights up 1-0 here, thanks to a shorthanded goal from Mark Stone.
I am okay. A little bit too on that. I'm surprised Bobrovsky didn't come out of his net because he should have seen Montour sliding back. Like he was right beside him there, right? So if you're starting, you should be at least you should be going at him there, seeing Stoughton slow down that much. I don't know. 5-game point streak.
Look, again, if you're Bobrovsky, it's kind of one of those unfortunate things. Like your team's on the power play and they give up a shorthanded chance like that.
Right.
But that's definitely a save that you're hoping that Bobrovsky could make to kind of prevent Vegas from grabbing the momentum. But Mark Stone, with just his 3rd goal of the playoffs, makes it 1-0.
I think it was 3 goals. I think it was 7 points, though, in the final.
Oh, in the final, excuse me. 3 goals and 7 points in the finals. Thank you,
Don't forget, they had 13 goals in the first 2 games. So.
They did, yes. They had an onslaught through the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Also, Arpad or 6 says, thanks for the stream, guys. Watching from Switzerland. Wow. Yes, we got some Swiss love in the chat tonight.
HC Davos.
Is it? I'm going to ask you, Arpad, just because I'm curious. Is it fair to say that the Devils are the most favorite team in the
farm?
In there, hold on a second. 2-on-1 for Vegas. Eichel shot. That gets blocked. Rebound. Try. It's scrambled in front of the crease. Where's the puck? It's still loose. It's somehow under. And I think they scored.
Wait.
Believe it, Nick Hague. But somehow it ended up in the back of the net. Bobrovsky can't believe it, but it's 2-0 Vegas.
I saw the puck in the crease.
I saw the puck under Brandon Montour, so I don't know how this puck ended up in. We got to see it on the beginning of that scramble. Right now, they're giving it to Nick Hague, by the way, or Hag. Sorry, as Michael Whitman shot, backhand try. Bobrovsky makes an unreal save. We're looking at the screen, still don't see the puck. I never see it go in. Here's the overhead angle. Oh, it did end up in the net. Yeah, Nick Hague tapped it in. It did get through. So Nick Hague doubles the lead for Vegas. They're up 2-0.
I still don't see it.
You'll see it again on the
overhead. Yep.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Well, so you know what? The ref was right. You know what? That was good on the ref though because he saw it right away. The question is though, does it matter when the whistle was blown?
Well, we have the game on mute, so we're not sure when the whistle was indeed blown. I think another thing to wonder as well is there any sort of goalie interference on this play?
No, I didn't even think about that. I think it's no.
Just think about it. Look, you have a Vegas player in the crease. I know that rule doesn't matter anymore, but it was Nick Hague who tapped it in. So I don't think goalie interference happens. I don't know how this – I honestly don't know, Kyle, how this goal doesn't happen. It's a good goal. The ref dropped the puck, so it is officially 2-0 Vegas thanks to a Nick Hague goal. I believe that's his 2nd of the finals, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think that was the right call at the end of the day. I think it was good on the ref. He was right there. He saw it. Yeah, that's true. I wonder do they have to call it a goal in order to review it, or is it no goal?
I don't know. I think for them, I didn't hear. Obviously, I didn't hear or see the ref blow whistle. I just think it seems like to me that maybe he just had it in sight the entire time. But nonetheless, it's a goal. Giselle is happy. So is Jacob. I mean, a lot of people are happy as a shot there from Howden gets stopped from Bobrovsky. Now Florida looks to try to come the other way. Sam Bennett with the puck. He's at center ice. He gets bumped off the puck. Petrangelo gets to it, and McNabb will control. 5:28 to go in this first. 2-0 Vegas. Jack Eichel and Zach Whitecloud with the assists on Nick Hague, his 2nd goal of the playoffs here as we get a stoppage of play, I believe for an offsides with 5:19 to go. But, yeah.
That's tough.
Again, think about this, Kyle. couple minutes ago, Barkov is open with a chance to get the Panthers on the board first, doesn't score, and then Vegas scores 2 goals within 3 minutes, and they're up 2-0.
You got to love how hockey can turn just like that, right? It's crazy how fast it can turn. So, like a couple of chances for Florida. It was unfortunate. I can't remember who threw the pass back that made Stone go the other way because the defender wasn't there to get the puck. But that right there just changes the game completely. And then,
I believe it was Verhaeghe that turned it over. I think it was Verhaeghe that turned it over. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess going on Samuels, I was just going to mention it.
Yeah. I don't think there's goal interference there personally.
I just wondered if that was what Bobrovsky was arguing. Like if there was goal tonight.
I think he was arguing he never saw the puck go in. I think that's why I don't think he ever, because when you look at, when Bobrovsky gets up from the scramble, where's the puck? It's right under Brandon Montour. It's not in the net.
Yeah.
So the assumption is, for him, is that, it never went in.
Right.
But he never saw Nick Hague. He bumps Bobrovsky for like a second, backs up, gets the puck, and then shoots it. By that point, it's not really goalie interference because Bobrovsky is still in his crease, and he's not really getting interfered with to make that save.
Look at you. Firing on all cylinders tonight. Look at that. What a way to do it.
I know. I don't know what can I say anymore. By the way, Marcel is asking a question, Kyle. Are you a Panthers fan?
No.
If you look to his right, you can see a beautiful Calgary Flames jersey.
I'm going to pull it out. Hold on. Wait. I got it.
Pulls it out of the closet. There you go.
I got something here. Wait. Okay. I'm pulling it out. Wait. I'm a team.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Wow, a North American Johnny Gaudreau World Cup of Hockey jersey. That is sick.
Why I bought it, though? Because whenever it happened, I was like, maybe I'll buy his Gaudreau. Because I like Gaudreau. I love him, right? He's a great player. And I'm like, I don't want to have a jersey where I'm like, if something happens, lo and behold, something happened one day, right? And I was like, I just want to keep it just because it's nice. But anyway, there you go. That
is very cool. Very, very cool. I'm glad that that's pretty dope that you have that. And we got
$20.
Are they going to show? I think they might actually just show here the replay of the Mark Stone goal here on TNT. I want to see
the Mark Stone goal or the Hague goal.
I think it's the Mark Stone goal because right now the puck is in the Vegas zone. So I just want to take a look. Puck comes. Oh no, this was the Nick Hague goal because then it started a 2-on-1. Jack Eichel took a shot that he fanned on backhand try. Yeah, it was just, again, there's nothing there in my opinion that would be saying like that's interference. So I mean, like you said, like that. It went from Florida had a power play, back-to-back goals, and now, like you mentioned, Kyle, I think the floodgates might have been opened up a little bit.
I was just going to say that. Like, all of a sudden, boom, you got 2 goals, and that's it. Like, it's fucking wild how quick that went.
It is. It is certainly wild. Giselle said she thought that she saw a Panthers jersey.
Going the wrong way. That's the retro jersey that they had this year.
Sam asks you, Kyle, who is your favorite Flames player? Are we going all time or are we going right now? I think you should do both.
Both. All time, it's Jerome McGinley. I just have a story with him. Currently on the roster, that's a good question. Come back to me. I don't know yet.
Mine is Blake Coleman for biased reasons.
Oh, Blake Coleman. Okay.
I love Pickles. Pickles is great. Pickles was great in New Jersey, and he was great in Tampa, and I'm sure he's doing just fine in Calgary.
I like Uyghur.
Oh, hey, God.
I like Uyghur. He did a lot of good things for Team Canada at the World Championships this year. So I think throughout the year, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. So I like Uyghur.
All right, so there you go. So we got 4:11 to go here in this first period. 2-0 Vegas as we get an icing here against Vegas. Goals from Mark Stone shorthanded, and then Nick Hague on a rebound. And so that's where we are. So again, Kyle, the Golden Knights know the cup is in the building, and I'm sure with this 2-0 lead, granted it's still the first, I'm sure they can really taste it right now.
They're polishing that bad boy right now.
Oh yeah, they're getting
it's already out, and they're just kind of doing the.
They're trying to.
They're making it look pretty. But I refuse to believe this game's over yet. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, it's still very much not over.
No.
Jacob and Giselle are they got to be pumped up right now.
I can't tell who a fan of Jacob's is. Or I can't tell who Jacob is a fan of. I
can't tell either. Right. No. Giselle hates pickles, but she's talking about the food, not the player. So that's fair. I was wondering to myself about that one. Drake Foss's favorite flame is Mark Giordano. Saw him play back in the AHL in 2006.
Nice. Yeah, Giordano's a good veteran. Yeah. AHL back in wow. So I wonder he was probably with the farm team back in 2006 for Calgary. Wow. 2006. That's man. So he's probably what, 37, 38 now?
No, he's up there. He's certainly up there.
There's just I'd like to think do you think this could be the last game for either Eric or Mark Stahl?
I think it probably will be for one of them.
I think for me, Eric Stahl is done.
It's Eric to me. Because Eric has been playing on one-year deals the last couple of years. Right. I remember he signed with the Buffalo Sabres, he signed with Montreal. Wasn't it like a minor league deal? I think he signed.
It was. It was a $950,000 type deal.
Yeah, for him, he's just trying to get himself an opportunity to win more and more Stanley Cup. I think a good question here, Kyle, and I don't know if we discussed it. Is Eric Stahl a Hall of Famer?
Oh shit. That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
Let's bring up his numbers. Numbers won't lie.
Gotta go to the numbers, right?
Yep.
As now the Panthers have the puck in the offensive zone. As that backhands around it to the right side. As now Lundberg tries to take it. Eric Stahl, the aforementioned, with the puck now. Puck is bouncing around over to the left side near the bench. Both teams still kind of whacking at it here. 2 players go down for each team. As now that puck comes out. Mark Stahl keeps it in. And now another player gets knocked down off a good hit from Jack Eichel. Eric Stahl wraps it around the boards, gets it over to Nick Hague, who just scored the most recent goal for Vegas. Barbashev just gets it out, but Radko Gudas will fire it right back in. By the way, Kyle, I will just say this.
Yep.
The most underrated move at the trade deadline, Vegas acquiring Ivan Barbashev.
That guy deserves an $8 million contract.
Okay, I don't know about that.
This guy's been insane.
I don't know about $8 million per year, Kyle.
He's been crazy. Pierre-Luc Dubois wants $9 million for the next 8 years in Montreal.
Yeah, but Pierre-Luc Dubois is a moron. But Dubois is a moron.
Pierre-Luc Dubois,
he wants an $8 million.
Does not deserve to have this much say. I am shocked that he deserves. He's been basically doing nothing for his whole career in Columbus and Winnipeg. And now all of a sudden, he thinks he deserves $9 million for doing nothing because he let 2 teams down and basically didn't give his 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to be there. To me, that's a guy I don't want on my team.
I don't know why Winnipeg hasn't dealt him yet. I think they should just do it season and get it over.
They should just get rid of him.
He wants to be a Montreal Canadian for reasons that I don't seem to know. I guess maybe he grew up a Habs fan. But here's the other thing. The Habs suck. I'm sorry, but they suck. They have a good young core that in a couple of years will be good. But him going there, what is that going to necessarily do? You
got to trade him in Arizona and see what happens.
Yeah, why not?
But real quick, I was going to bring up Stahl's stats because you asked an awesome question. In his career, in the regular season, he's played 1,365 games, 455 goals, 608 assists for 1,063 points.
Oh, that's a Hall of Famer.
That's a Hall of Famer to me, right?
And he's won a cup.
In the playoffs, he's played 103 career playoff games with 25 goals, 39 assists, and 64 points.
Yeah, that's a Hall of Famer.
And you know what?
He's probably the greatest Carolina Hurricane of all time.
For a guy for the contract that he was getting to, he had 15 goals, 15 assists in 70 games this year. That's not bad for what he's getting paid. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think that's to me for the run that he had and the time that he's with Carolina and those numbers too. Numbers don't lie, right?
No, numbers do not lie.
Yeah, he should be a Hall of Famer to me.
As Montour with a shot, he fanned on it. Puck comes out of the zone. He'll dump back in with 35 seconds to go here in the first. As we'll see if either team can get something here before the horn sounds. As Riley Smith up the left side into the offensive zone, drops it over there, William Carrier, now to Riley Smith. That puck goes out of the reach of Smith, but now it's taken away here by, Amadio. Now William Karlsson over there. Karlsson loses the puck. Puck now behind the net of Florida with 14 seconds to go in the period. Puck comes bouncing out, now goes over. Eric Stahl, we just mentioned, he'll chip it in with 6 seconds to go in the period, and that will do it for the first 20 minutes of action. And so the home team, the team up 3-1, one win away from the cup, is now 40 minutes away from doing just that, as they're up 2-0 after 20. So, Kyle, your thoughts?
Sorry, I was having
thoughts are send Pierre-Luc Dubois to Arizona.
Sorry, I was having a lot of fun with the chat. You should answer this after the break, though, about who your favorite players are.
There's a couple of comments I want to.
Yeah, we'll bring a couple up. Sam mentions too that he doesn't think he's a Hall of Famer, so we'll get into that. We'll bring this up afterwards when we go to break. But they're catching Bobrovsky on the high side. It's been working tonight. They've started to amp it up the pressure now that the first goal has kind of gone through. Now they have a little bit of momentum to carry into the second period. I still refuse to believe that this game is over. I think Florida's still going to have a lot to say. But even after that initial push from Florida, it's kind of gone quiet on their end a little bit. So I'd like to see a bit of a response going into the second period.
And we'll see what type of response we get from both teams. But before we get into our intermission report, we're going to step aside for the first time tonight to get a word from our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook. And welcome everybody here to our first intermission report of Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Kyle Manifold alongside Neil Villapiano. And after 20 minutes of play, it is the hometown Vegas Golden Knights, thanks to a shorthanded goal from Mark Stone. Then about a minute or two later, a rebound goal from Nick Hague. That is the difference so far after 20. And Kyle, I know we talked about it for a brief moment before we went to break, but again, your thoughts on both teams after the first 20 minutes of action?
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised how it began, right? With, coming out a little bit nervous. The nerves are a little bit there, knowing that the cup's in the building. But yeah, I just love the resiliency that these guys have had all playoffs long, right, for Florida. They've been the best story of the NHL season so far, including the playoffs. But it's starting to seem like that their magic is starting to fade.
It's certainly not looking good if you're Florida. You still have 40 minutes to go and only down by 2, so a lot can certainly happen between now and the end of this one. But if you are Vegas, you are in really good shape, yes. But you still got to finish off. Got to finish them off in the next 2 periods. Yeah. A couple of comments I wanted to get to really quickly. Giselle says that she's a newbie when it comes to hockey because she is a Vegas local. And when the stadium was being built, she was very hyped. So that's awesome. it's great to meet people who just got into hockey maybe a
Yeah.
year or two ago, or even a couple of years ago when, expansion happens and all of a sudden you're getting new teams. Like, remember, Vegas was the first professional sports team in Vegas, and then followed by the Raiders, and then you had the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA. And now it looks like, according to a report just about a half hour ago, it looks like the Oakland A's are indeed going to be moving to the Sin City for Major League Baseball. So
I didn't know
a lot is happening in the sports world in Vegas. Unfortunately, UNLV is no longer the most popular sports team in Vegas. For a long time they were. The Runnin' Rebels were very popular, especially in the 90s,
Right.
very popular. But I did want to bring this up, Kyle, because we were talking about Eric Stahl being a Hall of Famer, whether we agree or not. You and I both think that he is. Sam, who covers the Hurricanes for the Caniac Report here at THPN, does not think that Eric Stahl is a Hall of Famer. He never got back to the production he had in the year he won the Cup with Carolina.
Let's find out. Numbers don't lie. So they won the Cup back in 2005, 2006 in the 82-game season. He had 45 goals and 55 assists for a total of 100 points.
Wow.
After they won the Stanley Cup, that was the right year, right? 2005?
Yeah, 2006.
Okay. Yeah. After that, I'll just go off by points. From 2006 all the way to 2012, he had 70 points or more. So he still put up.
It was still good production.
It was. So his second year with Carolina, man, his first year with Carolina, he had 31 points in 81 games. Wow. So in the 1 year, it was his best year is when they won the Cup. And then after 2012, the points go as follows: 53, 61, 54, 33, and then he was on the Rangers for 20 games, believe it or not. Right. But
he also did he play for the Minnesota Wild as well?
Yes, he did. In his career with the Wild, he had 65 points in his first year, 76, 52, and 47. But I think what we're missing in all this is it's not all about points, right? And I don't think Eric Stahl, if you really look back on his career, is the type of player who, and again, I can't really say much because I haven't really watched him throughout his career. I don't think he's a guy you're going to look at and go, yeah, he got in the Hall of Fame because of his points, right? I got into it because of his leadership, right? Because he's been a captain for this long. Guys clearly will follow him, right? They did it when they won the Cup. I'm just trying to think of other reasons why, outside of
his impact in games,
impact in the game, the impact of the community of Carolina, I imagine too, right? I'm sure there were other things that will contribute to it, right? On a national stage, maybe too. I don't know what his national stage numbers look like, but it's also so tough. It's tough because, yes, the numbers don't lie, and you really should base it off as if you are a Hall of Famer, you have to look at the production that you've done on the ice. And I think his numbers in his career, if I just looked at his career numbers, which we did just before the break, that would tell me that's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So your thoughts? I don't know.
Well, here's something for me. Eric Stahl broke my heart as a little kid in 06 and 09 as a Devils fan. So you would think that I would just be no, I don't think. But first of all, he has over 1,000 points. And I know that not every player who has over 1,000 points is in the Hall of Fame. Alexander McGillney is a good example of that. Patrick Elias has over 1,000 points, and he's still not in the Hall of Fame. But I look at it this way. You have to have some sort of a major impact for a team long-term that is going to help you out. Eric Stahl will forever be a Carolina Hurricane for what he did, not just in 06, but his entirety of the time he was in Carolina.
Right.
Helped them win a cup. It's the only cup they've ever won. He's a tremendous leader. He is constant. He may not always put up a huge amount of points, but it's a consistent 70 plus. Yep. You'll take that.
Yep.
You will take that.
Yep.
Even in this playoffs, he has actually done a couple of good things. That's the way I look at it. So
I think it's
also he
as
was
well.
also on the cover of NHL 8. So like for me, like
That's
I
enough.
feel like if you,
That's
I
it.
feel like that I feel like that's got to be like something you got to consider as well.
Right. Yeah, I think, and it's also too like how he makes other guys look on the ice as well too, and how like the chemistry, like Rod Brendamore. Like if you look back, I'm gonna look back because I think it'd be so funny to look back at that 2006 roster. I want to know.
Yeah, just I want to quickly also go through some other comments here. Giselle says I
Yeah, go
think the
ahead.
Golden Knights were very underestimated in the beginning. I think it's yeah, it's hard to say because we both Kyle and I we still went with Vegas in overtime. We just expected more of a battle, and it still could be. But considering how things have gone to the first 20, you wonder if Florida's just done, if they're just out of gas, and Vegas is just going to continue to take over. I know we saw this before, but this is still a hilarious comment from Drake. Send Dubois to Arizona. That would be hilarious if that happened. Giselle also says, yeah, and supposedly Vegas is also going to get a NBA team. I have heard many things about that. The NBA hasn't expanded in a long time. And like we don't count Seattle moving to Oklahoma City to me as expansion.
That's
Yeah,
not
they
really
moved it to a
expansion.
new market, but they just moved a team from one location to another. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know why the NBA hasn't thought about it. Maybe they're just worried. I don't know. But I think Vegas has to be the most logical next place for the NBA.
It makes sense. Yeah, because it's just, and I'm glad they started it with the Golden Knights because I'm glad they started it with hockey there. And I think, it was a great, oh, I'm getting a bingo card too. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bingo card, yeah.
Okay. Also, sorry, I have to bring this up. Eric Stahl was not the captain when they won the cup.
He wasn't. No, he
It
was
was
a young player at that time.
It was Rod Brindamore. So
Rod
just
Brind'Amour.
notable guys on the team. Rod Brindamore was the captain. Eric Cole, Mike Commodore, Matt Cullen,
Justin Williams,
Justin Williams,
Mr. Game 7.
Brett Heidekin, Andrew Ladd, Chad LaRose, Mark Recchi, Corey Stillman, Radim Bravada, Aaron Ward, Cam Ward, Doug Waite, Ray Whitney, and then in goal, who they have in goal here? Cam Ward. Sorry, I already mentioned it. But anyway, yeah. It's just a couple of guys.
By the way, Kyle, you know who the head coach of that Hurricanes team was?
Who?
The guy who is now the new head coach of the New York Rangers, Peter Laviolette.
Peter Laviolette.
A young Peter Laviolette won that Stanley Cup.
Wow.
How about that?
That's crazy.
Huh. And he has not won anything since. So there you go.
Cool. Nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying about Peter Laviolette, he's a respected coach, but like when has he won anything after 06?
I'm trying to think of where he's been. Philadelphia.
Like he took the Flyers to the final, so we give him that. He took over a Nashville team, and he actually did pretty well. He took the Nashville Predators to the final, so we give him that.
Yeah.
He didn't really do well in Washington, and now he's going to the Rangers in, I think, a desperate move. Also, I'm really sick and tired of the recycling of coaches in the NHL.
Yeah, it's time to
It's getting really stupid out here.
Yeah, it's time. Like you start to feel like it's time to start bringing in new opportunities for new coaches, which is why I love Brian Huska as our head coach.
There you go. And I think from the Devils' perspective, it just made sense that Lindy Ruff is coming back, considering everything that's happened. Obviously, losing Andrew Burnett, it sucks, but it also doesn't, because as great as as much as he helped this team, and believe me, he did, the power play was still abysmal. It didn't really improve.
Not really.
And to me, it's like, when is that going to change? We have all this talent on offense and not, producing on the power play. In the playoffs, Kyle, you and I, we covered most of the Devils' time in the playoffs. How many times they have the power play and do nothing with it? Not only not doing anything, not even getting a shot on goal.
Yeah, it was very, very quiet, right? Personally, I don't love Lindy Ruff coming back for the Devils. I think it's just and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's a reward for the fact that he brought this team, whatever team collectively to this point. But what's going to happen if Lindy Ruff starts dogging it next year for these guys?
Well, to me, it's like we don't know what the particulars of his contract are because he signed a 3-year deal 3 years ago.
Right.
Tom Fitzgerald said weeks ago that Lindy Ruff is going to be coming back. I'm curious to know why that hasn't been announced yet officially. I find that interesting.
Right.
But there's no sign saying that like Lindy Ruff is going anywhere. If it's a 1-year deal, I'm cool with it.
Should be.
If it's 2 years,
pushing
you start pushing it at 2. Because also, how many more years does Lindy really have? Like, how many more years does he want to keep doing this?
Is this the coach that the young players like Jack Hughes and Keishier and that want to go into the future with?
Jack, after last season, not this year, the year before, when the Devils missed the playoffs and all that, he was definitive in wanting to keep Lindy Ruff around.
Right.
Nico was not as... Right. And that's an interesting thing because you have your superstar player saying he wants Lindy Ruff around, but your captain is like, I don't really want to get into it. So you kind of wonder what the feeling was last season comparatively to now. Where is the feeling? And like, there's a lot of things that the Devils will have to do this offseason. I'm really curious to know. And it's like, how do you keep a good thing going?
Right.
After a season like this? I think if anybody expects the Devils to have a year similar in terms of production and points and all that as last year, I think they're going to be disappointed. Not saying the Devils are not going to be good. It's just how do you duplicate a historic 52-win, 112-point season?
I don't know.
And you don't have everybody still on the team. And it's a new season. Like, you know? Did anybody expect Boston to do what they did this year? No. We all thought it was like, this is it. They're going to be bad. And that'll be that.
Always expect the unexpected. Every time a new season starts, always expect the unexpected because it happens every fucking year.
I say it all the time. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you this. Connor Hellebuck is not going to sign an extension.
Here we go. Yeah. Go ahead. I've heard it for like the last 4 weeks. Go ahead. Also, Giselle loved the word. I don't know if like, what was her name? Blanking on it at the moment. She writes for The Athletic. Goodman. Forget it. Shanna Goodman. She was the one that said she used that term, like recycling coaches. So I want to give her credit. Also, what happened today with The Athletic is incredibly sad. A lot of hockey people got fired today, including one of my favorites, Corey Masizak, who covered the Devils at one time. A lot of good people got laid off thanks to the New York Times now owning The Athletic. And they're focusing more on the NBA and NFL coverage. And soccer and NHL people, they got the worst of it. A lot of layoffs over the last 2 days. So,
we need more NBA and friggin' NFL talk. Come on.
It's unfortunate, but by the way, the second period's about to start. I'll say this really quickly about Connor Hellebuck. He's great. He's a little bit on the older side, not a terrible lot. He's a free agent after next season. The Devils, I feel like, would have to give up a lot for him, and I feel like it's not fair to Akira Schmid in particular to go after somebody like Hellebuck when Schmid, I feel like, proved himself that he's capable of being the guy long-term. Sure. And Vitek has never played that much until this year, and this is just his 4th season in the NHL. And this was a new team for him. So, like, that's how I feel about it. Same thing with John Gibson. He has a really bad contract that I don't really want.
I kind of thought you were going to go down that road with Akira Schmid, and I respect that. Because you got to
I don't think going with the tandem of Schmid and Vitek is as bad as people are putting it. Because everybody saw what happened in the playoffs, and that's the assumption that. And look, if things go bad next season, then okay, like it's time to make a move. But if things are still going well, there's no reason to make a change.
I would keep Schmidt.
So we don't have the greatest amount of money to spend either because we got to pay Bratt and Timo and
also second period underway.
Right, the second period is now underway here of game 2.
I would keep Schmidt 100%, right? Because you got to give him credit for the job that he did in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But there was nothing when we were watching it. There was nothing that Vanacek did that really impressed me.
And that's a concern. I mean, the good news is that he only has 2 years left on the deal he signed with the Devils after he was traded from Washington.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like it's impossible for him to get moved, but I think it's got to be, let's start the season out with those two and see how things go early on.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see what happens.
I think that's what I would do.
Yes.
If I'm the Devils, and I think that's what they're probably going to do here. Is again, second period is just underway. Yep. Kyle, what are you looking for from both teams here in this second 20? It's a shot from Verhaeghe is stopped and covered from Hill.
Well, I was just going to say Florida's putting a lot of pressure again early on here in the second. That's why, again, we were saying in the comments there too. I can't remember who mentioned it, but this game's not over yet, right? Even if this game's up 3-0, this game is not over, right?
No.
We saw it in the last game where you can get 2 quick goals and all of a sudden you're down 1 and it's a mad scramble to the finish. And Florida won't go down without a fight. And I think Vegas has to know that, right? So
right.
If you're Vegas, it's continuing to, you're up 2-0 now. It's that mindset of desperation, right? I think when they said it, the coach for Denver Nuggets yesterday said it beautifully when they were up 3-1 and then they won the finals last night. They have to act like their season's on the line down 3. They're the ones down 3-1, right? That's the mindset. Don't imagine yourself if you're Vegas, don't imagine the Cup's in the building tonight, right? It's not yours yet. You got to be the ones thinking we're the ones down 3-1. We got to be the ones to show desperation here, right?
I agree. It's a shot there for the point, and they score! And the Panthers, just like that, are back in this one. It's Aaron Ekblad. Gets it through a screen in front of Hill, and the Panthers are on the board. It's now 2-1.
A second late on goaltender interference. It isn't, because I think Lomberg kind of fell in after the puck was already in the net.
Right.
But I don't think Aiden Hill ever saw that.
Aiden Hill did not see that. Good screen there. 2 good screens from Eric Stahl and Ryan Lomberg as that one goes through just over the shoulder, left shoulder, glove side of Aiden Hill. And Kyle, if you want a good start to the period, that's how you do it.
Yep.
Less than 3 minutes in, the Panthers are only down by 1 now.
Aiden Hill had no idea where that puck was. But hey, that's the way to do it, right? Go back to old-fashioned hockey where you put a guy in front of the net and just screen him, right?
Nick Cousins, by the way, Kyle, the former Vegas Golden Knight and now current Florida Panther, he's shaken up on the bench as I don't know what happened on the play, but he is hunched over on the bench right now. So something to just keep an eye on.
Okay.
Also, by the way, Lomberg got tripped into Aiden Hill by Aiden Hill, just to point that out.
Yeah, but it's a goal regardless, right?
It is a goal regardless. And like you said, it happened. The goal happened just before anything could have been decided for goal interference. Aaron Ekblad, his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Nick Cousins.
Close for not an interference call there. Holy crap.
And I did see that. That was very close to being a penalty against Vegas.
Yep. Okay, let's see responses.
As Sam was talking about, we're still talking about Eric Stahl, but I think a player for the Kings that deserves it the most is Rob Brind'Amour, leader, cup winner, Selke Trophy winner twice, top NHL coach. I think you make a very good argument there, Sam.
Yeah, Brind'Amour over Stahl for a candidate. Yes, absolutely.
No question. By the way, Jack Eichel, Kyle, third most points all time in the playoffs. In your first year in the playoffs, he's 24. You know who's second on that list?
Who?
Eric Stahl with 28. So you know what? I'm just saying. I don't know. I forgot they showed it for a hot second. I don't know who has the most.
Right.
But it was just kind of funny that we're talking about Eric Stahl and then that stat comes up.
That's funny.
And like I said, the stats don't lie.
The stats do not lie.
And Sam says, see, I told you Stalsy would be a factor. He did have a screen. I think we're all pulling for Eric Stahl tonight. I think that's what we're really pulling for.
Yeah.
We're pulling for Stalsy tonight. Is now the Golden Knights in the zone. They still have an Amadio behind the net. Still with it now. Waits. Walks the line. Stops. He's in the left corner now. Puck is loose. Both teams back fighting at it. Duclair intercepts it, and now it's easily controlled by Barkov and Florida will get it out. Obviously, Giselle not happy that Florida got on the board here. Either. Also, did want to shout out our good buddy Andrew B. Good to see you, man. Hope you are doing well. Thank you for hanging out with us. We do appreciate it. Arpad, I really do hope Timo Meier gets extended. I think he will. It's just that Jesper Bratt is taking a long damn time to sign a deal, and it's really irritating all of us in Devils world. So
I'm so excited for the draft to come up because the Devils do have a first round pick.
I don't remember if they do.
I don't remember either. I have no idea.
We definitely don't have our original first. That was in the Timo Meier deal. The Sharks had that.
Right.
If we get an icing here against Vegas, 15-11 to go in the second. Florida with the only goal so far, only 2-1 now. Vegas.
This game's not over.
It is not. It is not at all. And Drake, this is a good point. I do agree with you. I definitely think TNT cares a lot more. Because you know what they've done? They took the same formula that they do for inside the NBA and just did it for NHL, and it works.
And Charles Barkley loves it.
Charles Barkley loves hockey. We have found that out. And honestly, I think one of us got to find a way to get him on the network for an episode. I think that would be so unreal.
Funny. We got
that would be so funny.
Yeah, say to everybody on the network, hey, go get Charles Barkley.
We'll make a post in our group chat I
found out today, speaking of our network, that Terry Ryan is going to be coaching the Spit and Chicklets team for the Chicklets Cup in October.
Wow. There's got to be a way. Okay, I think we got to. Can we live? Can we do live watch-alongs of that? I got to see that for myself.
We can try. Yeah, we can
certainly try. Puck goes out of play here. 14:28 to go in the second. Still 2-1.
There's a live stream on Facebook or something of them doing at the game or whatever.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that we can pull.
There's got to be something there.
Yeah.
By the way, my good buddy Dennis, big Devils fan, also fan of the Devils State of My podcast. Appreciate you, man, for being here. Mark Recchi, former Devils assistant coach in 1991, had the most points in a first playoff, but I don't know the number. I think it was 33.
I'm on it.
30 something. It was ridiculous.
His first playoff appeared
first year in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, got it.
That's the stat that they were showing. Jack Eichel has the third most points for a guy who's making his playoff debut overall, in these playoffs.
What was the year? Sorry,
for Mark Recchi, 1991.
1991.
So I think that was when he was with the Penguins. Penguins dynasty with Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, and Ronnie Francis. They had such a superstar team back then.
1991, he had 34 points. He had 10 goals, 34 assists, 34 points. And do you know how many penalty minutes he had? He had
150.
He had 33 penalty minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it is.
It actually is quite a lot. Giselle, by the way, asking us, Kyle, who has the most Stanley Cup wins? Well, if we're going by who's won the most Stanley Cups, it's the Montreal Canadiens with 24.
Yep.
So in terms of who has won the most Stanley Cup games, I don't even know that answer. I'd assume it's Montreal again, right? I mean, that would be the assumption.
Oh, like who's won the most games in the finals?
The most games in the finals, yeah.
On it.
So Kyle, the stats guy, is going for it here. And again, Andrew confirming it is 34 for Mark Recchi. That is wild. And then Sam says, Mark Recchi, former Carolina Hurricane and Stanley Cup champion, did win a cup also with the Boston Bruins. I think people forget about that back in 2011.
This is going to be hard to find.
Is it going to be hard? I thought it would be not terribly hard. As Carter Verhaeghe comes into the zone here for Florida, gets over to Bennett. He takes a shot that gets stick lifted away. Bennett tries to keep it in, but it's taken away by Kolasar. He drops it now over to Ivan Barbashev, who will walk his way up, William Carrier. He carries the puck into the left corner. Gudis now chips it over to Reinhardt. Both teams now pinned against the boards. Gets it top of the point to Haig. Over to Whitecloud. Wrist shot, and that one goes into the red basket of Bobrovsky. And we get a whistle with 12:37 to go in the second period. Aaron Ekblad, less than 3 minutes into this period, got the Panthers on the board. And it's only 2-1 Vegas here.
Okay.
We're approaching the halfway point of this game.
Oh, perfect. Commercial. Trivia time. So the Montreal Canadiens have the most wins in the Stanley Cup final. Who has the most losses?
Most losses?
Who has the most losses in the Stanley Cup Finals in franchise history?
Is it an original 16?
It is an original 16.
I figured that was the case.
Yep.
I feel like it's obvious, but then it's not. Like,
don't think too hard on it.
It's not the Rangers. I can't see it being the Rangers. Is it the Detroit Red Wings?
Not the Red Wings.
It's not the Leafs, is it?
Nope.
Oh, so it's the Blackhawks.
Nope.
Oh,
Original Bruins? Yeah,
Bruins. Yeah, okay.
Holy shit.
Really? How many do the Bruins have?
14. 14 losses. Yeah.
That is
rough. It doesn't seem like a lot, but for having been to the final quite a bit, it's a lot, right? But
Angus, you are correct. It is the Boston Bruins, as Kyle just mentioned.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Cool. So, there you go. Nice trivia for you.
There you go. So, Kyle, Aaron Ekblad gets a goal through traffic. Florida gets on the board, and for the most part in this second period, it has been the Florida Panthers dictating pace.
Yeah, and I feel like too, like if there's any way Florida ties this game or has a chance to win this game tonight, it's going to be a lot of garbage, distractions in front of the net, those type of goals. I don't think it's going to be anything too fancy like what we've seen from, or at least what we saw from Mark Stone in that first goal. It's going to be that type of garbage scramble, throw the puck on net kind of thing, and that's what you're going to see. And they're just showing Bruce Cassidy here, man. He has had a pretty impressive resume himself.
Dude, the Bruins got to be regretting the fact that they just let him go for no reason.
I'm shocked that they let Bruce Cassidy go at the time. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, he's happy now, right? He's on the verge of.
Shoot, he's he's about a half a game away from winning the cup. Yep. Vegas, by the way, outscored opponents 30-10 in the second period this postseason.
They've been so good in the second period. That's why Florida needed to come out in this second period, and they really needed to apply pressure because they knew what Vegas can do here in the second.
Yeah, and right now Florida, with the only goal, is Amadio into the offensive zone, tries to drop it over, and it gets blocked. Cousins now with the puck, and he'll take it out for Florida, drops it off to Eric Stahl. Why are we mentioning Stahl so much tonight? This is hilarious. He's been in the action. I mean, he got a nice screen in front that resulted in the Aaron Ekblad goal. I think we forget, by the way, Kyle, Aaron Ekblad, he was drafted very high in his draft year, and he was drafted in Florida.
Wasn't he? No, he was the second overall.
I think he was the first overall pick. No.
Uh-oh. I don't know.
No, wasn't that that was the Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel draft year? No.
Was it?
I feel bad.
He was first overall. Guess who was second?
Was it
second? Behind Eric. Go ahead.
Behind Aaron Ekblad? Toronto?
Okay, here's a hint. He's playing in the final right now.
What?
You're going to be
playing
shocked.
The final, right? That's the what?
You're going to be shocked who it is.
Is it all right? Is it a defenseman?
Nope.
Is it Mark Stone?
Nope. He's on Florida too.
Oh, he's on Florida.
Yeah.
Is it? No, it's not Sam Bennett, is it?
No. He was fifth or sixth from Calgary.
Fifth. Okay. Yeah. So that was that same draft year.
Yeah, it's a different.
Reinhart.
It was Sam Reinhart.
It was Sam Reinhart for Buffalo, right?
Sam Bennett was fourth in that draft. So you have Aaron Ekblad, Sam Reinhart, Leon Draisaitl went third.
Oh, God.
And then Sam Bennett went.
And then Sam Bennett. Oh, my God.
I just want to list some of these guys. This was the 2014 draft, okay? So it went
backhand try there, a stop. Rebound try for Marchessault. Gets fought off by Bobrovsky. Vegas putting on some pressure right now. Barbashev with the puck. He's still with it. Gets it over to Eichel. Dropped to Pietrangelo. Slap shot gets deflected wide of the net. Alec Martinez keeps it in for Vegas. Wraps it around to the other side. Now in the right corner. Barbashev gets to it for Vegas. Barbashev waits. Drops it to Pietrangelo out of his reach, but he regains the puck. Backhands it into the left corner for Eichel. He lets it go. Eichel now tries to go retrieve the puck. Still with it. Gets to Pietrangelo. He holds. Wrist shot. Deflected. And a good save there after deflection by Bobrovsky, and the Panthers will get it out.
But again, it's low shots again, and Bobrovsky's going to shut the door every single time. Low shots on the net there.
Ike comes back in. Martinez with a shot and he scores! Alec Martinez! Top shelf over the right shoulder of Bobrovsky, and the Golden Knights have retaken the 2-goal lead. It's 3-1.
Is that the goal? Alec Martinez with the goal to go up 3-1. He won it for Game 5 for the Kings.
So now,
all the way back.
I think we have to hope. That Florida gets another goal, so the game winner is Alec Martinez.
It is. Yeah, that's right.
Alec Martinez with a beautiful shot.
Another goal up high. Beautiful.
You just mentioned it just seconds ago, right?
Yeah.
Vegas takes a low shot. Bobrovsky's got that all day. Eichel drops it off to Martinez. Right. Top shelf. Beautiful.
I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it all playoffs long. My dad sent me too, and I'm like, holy shit, like you're right.
Big-time goal there from Alec Martinez, who, like we mentioned, knows a little bit about scoring big-time goals in Cup final clinching games, also conference final.
Yeah.
See, people forget that year for Alec Martinez in 2014 for the Kings. Not only did he score the game winner in the Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals to win the Cup, he also scored the game winner in Game 7 of the Conference Finals in overtime against the Blackhawks.
That's right. That was a great game. Oh, my God. That was incredible.
And they just mentioned, by the way, on TNT that Alec Martinez scored that goal.
More pressure here being applied by Vegas. They still haven't gotten out of or Florida hasn't gotten out of the zone yet.
No, they're struggling right now. Is an opportunity here. Colasar drops the White Cloud. White Cloud with a shot, and that deflects wide. Vegas putting all the pressure right now. Bennett is without his stick. He's also, White, he is hurt. He is skating basically on one leg. Florida's got to get it out. They cannot. Puck comes out in front. Carlson still with it. Ran into his own teammate there. Oh, my goodness. Vegas still with the puck. 28 gets back for Florida, but Riley Smith keeps it in for Vegas. Carlson now on the left side. He drops it over to Amadio. Amadio now over to Carlson in the left corner. Carlson feeds it in front. Shot is stopped by Bobrovsky, and it gets swept aside. Riley Smith still with the puck. Over now to Brady McNabb. Now to Smith. Now over to Theodore. Shea Theodore still with it now. Theodore waits, still with it, drops it over to McNabb left side, back to the top of the point to Theodore. Wrist shot, that gets blocked in front, puck is loose, Smith with a shot, and he scores! Riley Smith got a rebound! An original Golden Knight triples the lead! It's 4-1 Vegas!
I don't think I've ever seen that dominant of an offensive zone all playoff long. That was incredible.
And Kyle, that was an entire line of 5 players who were on the original Golden Knights team 5 years ago that won the Cup.
That's crazy.
With the exception of Amadio. He was the only one. Carlson, Riley Smith, Shea Theodore, and Braden McNabb. 4 of the 5 remaining players from the 17-18 Golden Misfits were on the ice for that goal, and it's Riley Smith getting it under the left leg pad of Bobrovsky, and it's 4-1.
He had a toe on it too, but man, Florida was not going to survive that, man. Holy shit! And
yes, Dennis, that is Devils defenseman Brendan Smith's brother, Riley Smith, that scored that goal. Got to drop in. Just had to drop that in. Dennis is love it. I think that's it for Florida. It looks 2 goals in a minute 45. It really does feel out of reach at this point. No way. Let's go. Hefty Duck is pumped. Dylan is in the chat hanging out with us. He says it's over.
That was crazy. The amount of time. How long were they in the offensive zone for?
I think for over a minute, honestly. I think it was over a minute.
That felt like 2 minutes.
Yes, also William Carrier as well. So 4 of the 6 Golden Misfits were on the ice for that goal. And I think, Kyle, if the Golden Knights are going to win the Stanley Cup tonight, I think it's only fitting that a lot of the Golden Misfits get on the board here and get rewarded for the last couple of years.
You would think that they would probably get the Cup first.
Oh yeah, I think they should.
Right.
Quite frankly, I think Shea Theodore or Brady McNabb or William Carlson. I think one of them should get it first.
So it's Eichel who's cap. Vegas is 15-0.
Mark Stone. Mark Stone is the captain.
They are 15-0 when they've scored 3 or more goals in the playoffs.
That is bad. The Golden Misfits all accounted for that goal. Riley Smith is third of the postseason, assisted from William Carlson and Shea Theodore. So
it seems fitting that they'll go 16-0 with 3+ goals in the playoffs and to get their 16th win of the playoffs to get the cup, right?
it's sometimes how the hockey gods like to play around. You know?
So wait. Okay, no, yeah, that's crazy. So wait, this might be stupid here. Every single game they've won, they've had 3 or more goals, right?
That is correct.
That's crazy.
Their offense clicked when it mattered most, and that's the important thing. Is Barbashev drops it over, feeds a shot there from Eichel, and he gets robbed by Bobrovsky. Oh my goodness, right Bobrovsky didn't even see it.
Florida just has you can kind of tell they've got
helpless.
Even throughout that offensive, through that 2 minutes they were in there for, they were so helpless with Colin White, who just looked like he was on one leg there. Oh, brutal.
Bobrovsky's going to cover it here, or I think. Well, he did cover it, so we get a stoppage play. 5:57 to go in the second. Florida got the first goal of the period, but Vegas, in the span of 1:45, thanks to Alec Martinez and Riley Smith, have given themselves a commanding 4-1 lead. But I say that also knowing that we've had multiple 3-4 goal leads blown in these
blown. Oh, it's still not over yet.
So it's not over yet. But if it gets to 5, then it's over.
Yeah, I agree.
If it gets to 5, I think that's it.
The medal, right?
Well, at least South Florida still has the Marlins. That's not really saying a whole lot there, Drake. Dylan saying, what a season of live streams. Dylan, it's not over. Don't say that.
Not done yet.
We need a second period, Dylan. Give us some. We'll get to, and we're not done after this game either, by the way.
End of June, didn't you forget?
We're not done. Vegas lost one away game on purpose so they could win the cup at home. Right. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
That was their plan. Yeah.
Right. It was their plan all along. Yep. Dennis says Stone gives it to Marchessault. Especially with Marchessault beating his former team. And Riley Smith, too. Riley Smith as well as a former Florida Panther.
Yeah, who I would imagine. Yeah, Marchessault's a good bet.
Why couldn't Carolina play like this against Florida? Because Vegas is on another level, my friend. I'm sorry, Sam, but
Vegas is
I could say the same thing. I could say, why couldn't the Devils play like this against Carolina? It's the same thing.
So big, they're so deep, and they're so fast.
The Marlins have the worst aquarium to swim in. Well, nobody swims.
Don't overthink that too much.
Yeah, I need one more Vegas goal to get my prediction right. Yeah, Hefty, you're pretty darn close, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm not watching. Is Matthew Tkachuk in the press box? They have not shown him. I don't know where he is right now.
I don't know where he's. Yeah, he's probably up in the presser, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So if you're in Vegas right now, Kyle, what are you feeling on the bench?
You can't feel too high. Right? You can't. Despite being up 4-1, you can't be feeling this way, right? You got 5. You still have a lot of time here in the second. There's still 5 minutes left in the second period here. They're still applying pressure, which is good. And I like that they're doing that. But don't act like this is going to be handed to you in the third period. Florida's going to come out and say, you know what? This might be it for us. But if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging.
And I think that has to be the attitude of Florida from this point on, that you got to take some chances. You got to find a way to get some dirty goals. And I mean, if you're Florida, if you could find a way to get at least one goal back before the end of the period, you're only down 2. And being down 2 going into the third looks a lot better than being down 3 going into the third.
For sure. If this game ends up being the way it is tonight, Florida will be 1-7, 1-8 in the Cup final?
1-8.
1-8, yeah.
Bro, they just showed again, Kyle. They just showed again Alec Martinez scoring the game-winning goal in Game 5 of the 2014 Finals. And again, that was such a long game, too. It ended in third or fourth overtime. It was a long game for them.
I think so, yeah.
Such a long game.
So I just wanted to bring – I kept this on this page because I was just scrolling through the 2014 draft real quick now that we have maybe I'll bring it up at commercial break, but –
You can bring it up now.
Okay. My question for you is: the Devils had the last pick in that first round. Who did they select?
If the Devils had the pick, or
no, they did. They had the last
in 2014.
In 2014. You're a Devils fan.
Yeah.
Who did they select in 20?
Is it Blake Coleman?
It is not Blake Coleman.
No, I think Blake Coleman was 2012. Now that I think about
I actually don't know that.
No, I'm feeling Pretty certain it's now an opportunity for Cousins, and that would have stopped by Hill. He goes into Hill, no penalty, and now the puck comes back out into the Florida zone. It's William Carrier with the puck. I'm stalling here. Carrier with the puck, still with it back. Antry goes wide of Bobrovsky. Vegas with the puck now gets it top of the point. Drive from White Cloud, deflects just wide of Bobrovsky. Olasar now with it. Puck is in the right corner, as now 28 will get to it. 2014.
2014. Take some time.
I wonder if he's still on it. Wait a minute.
I have no idea if he's still playing. I have no idea. I can look it up.
2014. No, it can't. It wasn't Michael McLeod. He was a first round. He was drafted early in the first round.
The last time he played in the NHL was 2019, 2020. He's currently in the AHL. He went and played.
Currently in the AHL, really?
He was in the Swiss League in 2021, and he was also in a Swedish league in 2022.
Was it Eric Jelena?
No, it was not.
Oh, jeez. Is this like a relatively well-known name that we're going with?
Fairly relatively known, yeah.
Wow, this is good. This is a really good. I don't know, man. I'm drawing a blank.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
John Quenneville.
John, you know, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about John Quenneville because at one time he actually looked like somebody that could contribute, and then he wasn't.
Yeah. So if you want to hear some of his stats a little bit.
Oh, John Quenneville.
Quenneville.
I believe he is the cousin of Joel Quenneville. I think he actually, yeah. I think he is.
So he's played respectively. He's played 4 seasons in the NHL.
He played with the Devils and also, I think, Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. He went 12 games, 2 games, 19 games, and 9 games.
Yeah, he wasn't very good.
He had scored 1 goal.
Yeah, and was it? I don't even think it was with the Devils. Now Amadio with a shot that goes wide.
Brutal.
I mean, I've seen worse.
It's true, yeah. And for Flames fans wondering, there's probably nobody in the chat besides me. That was the year we selected Sam Bennett 4th overall in the first round.
There you go. There's now a drop pass here. Cousins and a shot there from Stone, and he scores! Mark Stone gets it past Bobrovsky for his second of the night, and the floodgates have opened. It's 5-1 Vegas.
That is match point right there.
Kyle, we're doing another blowout, man.
Why the fuck do we get all the blowouts?
Oh God,
Every
man!
time we get the blowouts.
The last 2 games have been Bobrovsky, my friend. Oh, that was a brutal goal. It went right through his arm or his legs or something.
Oh,
he just didn't get enough of it. And oh yeah, the house is winning tonight, Kyle. That's for sure.
Damn. Oh, damn. Well, that's match point. I think, you know what, though? We'll have a fun third period, though. We'll celebrate a third period where no first period roughing pen call on Vegas to start the game. Of course, to no interference pen call on Riley.
You start the second.
Look, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It didn't matter tonight. Because, frankly, you know, again, too, I mean, he's kind of got a point where there's been, 2 penalty calls tonight? I think. Right? There's got to be 2.
There's been 2. There's been 2 the entire game.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It honestly didn't matter if they were called.
To me, Sam, to answer your question, I still think it's Jonathan Marchessault. I know he hasn't done anything tonight. I just think with what he's done throughout these playoffs, I think that's really what it is. By the way, Vegas, if they do hold on to win, will be the second fastest franchise to win a Stanley Cup in the expansion era. I think Jacob mentioned that before. Edmonton won it in year 5.
Wow.
And I should mention this. I don't know if you've seen it, but Bill Foley, the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, he said when he got the team that he expects to win a Stanley Cup in 6 years. Well, this is year 6.
Oh, good for him, man.
He is 22 minutes away from winning that Stanley Cup.
Wow. So maybe it's something we're going to talk about maybe in the third period, but like some of our, now that the season feels like it's kind of coming to an end because I don't anticipate a comeback here, just some of the things that we kind of learned this season and like big takeaways maybe we can kind of look at going into the third period. Like, what's our biggest takeaway from the regular season?
Like doing
just in the NHL season entirely, like just throughout the regular season and the playoff. What's some big takeaways that we can kind of think of?
The NHL still has a long way to go in terms of promoting the game more. I think I've learned that. I also think that I love the outdoor games. I just think the NHL doesn't do a good enough job of making them interesting. I think also there's too many of them, in my opinion.
So next year there'll be there's 4?
We have Heritage Classic, the Winter Classic, 2 Stadium Series games, so that's 4.
Okay.
And I think that's it for right now. Which to me still, like, 4 is a lot.
I don't hate yeah, because I remember back in the day, like when it was just the Winter Classic, like that was the they promoted it.
And also they're no longer doing it on New Year's Day either, which is another problem. Like I went to the Winter Classic in Boston this past year. It was January 2nd. Right. It didn't have the same feeling of like, oh, it's that. And it's like, it wasn't good because ESPN was like, oh, well, we have to worry about the Rose Bowl coverage. And it's like,
and
dude,
the NFL
I get it.
Will play on New Year's too.
Yeah, and I'm like, I get it, but still, like, this is a problem.
Right.
The other thing I learned is this. Connor McDavid has created his own level that only he's at. There's like nobody else that can get to his level.
Except for Draisaitl and what he did in the playoffs this year.
That's true. So, like...
Right? But that's maybe because he works with McDavid with him.
You know how we have, like, it's like, we have, like, fringe... like good player, great player, superstar, mega superstar. And then the last one is
McDavid.
McDavid level.
Yeah. Also, there's 2 minutes left here. You should have to bring the scoreboard back up.
I'm going to bring it up anyway so you people can deal with it. You people will just deal with it. I'm still doing my job.
You people.
You people will sit here and you will take it.
Back to some of the comments here. Leo saying Eichel or Hill gets MVP. Conn Smythe, I imagine that's what he's saying. Eichel has just been all heart, playing through injury, and contributing to the offense. Hill has been their backbone. I can understand.
He has 2 assists tonight. He has 2 assists tonight.
I can understand why Hill would get consideration. I can understand actually why both of them would get consideration. I just think Marchessault, like, you have to think like it's Conn Smythe through the entire playoffs, and you can make a really good argument for a lot of the guys, I think, and to have that tells you a lot about this Vegas team, where if you can make an argument that there's multiple guys on this team that deserve the Conn Smythe, then that tells you a whole lot about this Vegas Golden Knights team.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. My good buddy Lauren says, hi, Neil. My Ducks fired Eakins. Yeah, I know. We no longer have to talk about Dallas Eakins in Anaheim, and hired a new coach. Hopefully the rebuild goes well.
Who's the coach? Cronin? I don't remember. I don't know who he is, but
I don't remember. She's also saying, meanwhile, my Angels are a clown show. You still got Ohtani and Trout, so there's that.
There you go.
I mean, that's saying a lot, honestly. But we'll see how things go with that. Minute 2 to go here in the second period.
The crybaby.
Connor McCrybaby. I don't think he's a crybaby. I think he's just like.
Hold on.
They're paying him and Draisaitl so much of their cap they can't build around them.
It's true. But you can also say the same thing about the Leafs, right? And also he's going to cry in his fucking money pile of $11 million or whatever it is. He could give a fuck.
I think also McDavid's going to be a lifelong, like, Edmonton. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Well...
Also with that money, with that cap hit, but think about it. With that cap hit, like, who's touching him?
But the only thing I would say to that is if the Oilers don't start like competing for a cup, like if they're not in they haven't since they've drafted him, they have not appeared in a Stanley Cup final, which they should have, you think.
They got close last year, and then this year. I really thought this year they were going to do it.
I agree. Really I had them in the final this year too. If they don't, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting because if it gets to a certain point.
Oh, it's 6-1. I think. I don't know. What is it? Mario goes in. The puck is in the net, and then the ref puts his arm up like this. So I'm assuming that maybe it's not a goal. No, it is a goal.
Oh, puck's in the net. Wow.
Or is it not? I don't know. Oh, it is a goal. No, it is a goal. It's 6-1.
Hold on.
So,
hey, we gotta watch the replay. We totally missed that.
I mean, I saw it. I could see it. I just didn't react the way you expected because it's 6-1.
What happened?
Well, Bobrovsky falls back and then Amadio just swipes it. It actually goes on the pant leg of Bobrovsky and ends up in the net.
Tapped it in. Boom, boom.
Not a weird goal.
Bennett with
it ends up on his pant leg. And then Amadio goes into the net. So not only does the puck cross
the line, no idea where the puck is.
They got to look at it. I mean, I know it doesn't matter that much, but still.
So there it is. Boom, boom, boom. He's got it right there. Oh, yeah, that puck's in. Yeah, that puck's in the net.
It is 6-1 Vegas.
When Amadio got pushed in, he was sitting on it. Yeah.
It is 6-1 with 1.2 seconds to go in the second period. So
wow, what a tournament!
As the period does officially come to an end, with Florida scored the first goal of the period, right? So it was 2-1. And then the floodgates opened as Vegas scored 4 unanswered goals and are now up 6-1 with 20 minutes to go in pretty much the NHL season.
Well, I think we'll enjoy the third period because I think it'll be it'll be a celebration of.
We'll just talk. We'll just have a nice chat.
It'll be a good celebration of this year and excitement for the draft and coming up. But yeah, I don't think there's much to really break down here. It's domination, and I think Florida's just kind of accepted it.
Yeah. Right? We'll talk a little bit more. We'll talk a little bit more about everything and get you guys ready for what should be a third period of just.
It's gonna be an awesome celebration. I hope
it's gonna be an awesome celebration, no doubt. But
we'll be on for when Vegas wins because it's pretty much over.
Yeah, we'll be here.
We'll be watching the cup because we have to.
We have to. Of course, we have to. But before we continue on here, we're going to step aside for another moment to get another word from our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook. And welcome everybody here to our second intermission report.
Yay.
I don't know why it has happened this year, but if you have been along with myself and Kyle when we've done games together, we tend to have some pretty bad luck.
We've had such bad luck.
Because after 40 minutes of play, it is 6-1 Vegas with 20 minutes to go as Vegas, it looks like they are well on their way to winning their first Stanley Cup.
We had one game, and I think it was game 5 between Carolina and the Devils, and it went to overtime.
Well, we had Devils Rangers game 3 that went to overtime.
Game 3. And I think
no, we had Vegas Dallas game 4.
Vegas, yeah, but that was a blowout. Or no, it went overtime. So 3.
Won in overtime.
3.
Yep.
We've had 3, and the rest have been fucking blowouts.
I forgot how many games we did. Like overall, I have to go back.
We've done so many.
90% of them have been blowouts. So, like,
real quick,
it felt good. It felt good when it was 2-1 at the beginning of the second period. The second period, but Vegas just poured it on. Mark Stone has 2 goals. Riley Smith has a goal. Amadio got a weird one. Alec Martinez, because reasons. Unfortunately, he will not have the game-winning goal tonight.
Offensive zone possession time tonight. In the second period, the Florida Panthers had 1 minute. The Vegas Golden Knights had 4 minutes and 57 seconds in the offensive zone.
Yeah. No,
they
I know.
Fucking set up shop.
Turbo gets his hand broke. No suspension. McDavid cries about a similar play, but no injury occurred in suspension. I mean, it's...
While we're in
NHL is not consistent. Jonas, I'll get back to this question in a little bit.
Okay, get back to that. I just wanted to bring this up real quick because I don't know if you're not a huge golf fan, are you? Probably not.
You're going to talk? No, you're talking about the chip in, aren't you?
The chip in.
Wasn't it the CBC or whatever it's called?
So real quick,
I saw it on TV. I did see this. I think I know what you're talking about.
This was the greatest Canadian sports moment in the modern era on Sunday, where it was the RBC Canadian Open.
Right.
A guy from Canada has not won that tournament since 1954, 69 years. Nice. And they were in the 4th playoff hole, okay? And they were going back and forth. 72-foot putt to win, and he fucking drained it. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in like 10 plus years.
Somebody had a call. I don't know if it was on one of the Canadian channels or something, but like this guy went nuts after the guy sinked it. I mean, he sunk it good. It was a great shot.
And so then what happens? One of the guys, like the Canadian golfers that were supporting him, gets fucking bodied by security because they thought he was a fan.
That's great. They thought it was a fan, so he just gets leveled.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
Fair enough. Ben 10, holy crap, Vegas. Jesus, I know. Theoretically, Colorado of last year plays Vegas of this year. Who wins a Game 7 series? I think it's Vegas.
Well, considering Colorado lost 7 to Seattle, goaltending, yeah.
Yeah, goaltending.
Yeah, I agree. Vegas wins that series. Is there a series out of all the teams in the playoffs that Vegas would have lost to? Or would have been like gone to Game 7 sort of thing?
Seattle.
Whoa, really?
Really? Yeah, I think Seattle would have given them hell.
So Seattle would have gave them more of a run than Dallas.
I agree.
Wow. Huh.
That's what I think.
Look,
Seattle should have won that series in 6. They had it. And it's growing pains. But that Kraken team, man, I can't wait to see the Seattle Kraken in the Stanley Cup Finals.
The more that I think about it, I think you're right. I don't think there's anybody in the East that would have came close to Vegas.
Nope.
I don't think Boston's style of game would have came close to Vegas.
Yeah.
I think Toronto would have got swept. Right? I think the Devils probably would have been in it for 5 games. I think Carolina would have been in it for 5 or 6 games. I don't know if there's a team in the East that would have had a chance.
No, I think New Jersey would have gotten swept probably.
I gave him a
game. With the goaltending where it was, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
I don't know if there's a team in the playoffs that would have had Vegas. Outside of me, you might be right. I don't know.
I watch hockey to stay awake and golf to snooze. I think that's how most people react to golf, except Kyle. Kyle loves golf.
This isn't a golf network.
Well, the Florida Panthers will be golfing very soon for these next 20 minutes. Then again, so will the Golden Knights because the season will have been over.
I think so.
Drake, I don't agree with this because look at how Boston went down. I don't know.
You know what though? Like, yes, they could have gave him a run. I don't think it would have been like compared to like like a 4-game sweep or a 5-gamer or something like that, yeah, they probably would have been in it. But the style of game that the Bruins play, I don't think it would have been enough against this.
No.
This team is just, they're big, they're fast, they're just, the depth is unbelievable with this team. Imagine if Tkachuk wins it. Yeah.
Bro, we're not doing J.S. Shiger 2003 all over again.
Yeah.
That was also a load of crap.
Oof.
That was a load of crap that year.
Bullshit.
No, because Marty Brodeur has 3 shutouts in the finals. 3, including the game winner in Game 7. And nobody gave a crap. Nobody. J.S. Shiger lost Game 7.
Right.
They lost the cup. Why does he still get playoff MVP?
Here they go, showing Alec Martinez again, another overtime goal.
Okay, I'm done with that. Okay, now I'm done with Alec Martinez. By the way, Leo Lake said this, and I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Too. Growing the game has to include helping cut equipment costs. That's a very good point, Leo.
Preach.
NHL teams should have a youth league in each state. That would be interesting. Not elite travel, but town league. So, like, are we talking like rec? Is that what we're going for? If we're going like,
so you're talking about the states in Canada where like. So
I think he's talking about states and everywhere. Like I think he's talking about every team.
So in New York State, in Montana, right. In if you're talking Canada, in Ontario, in Alberta. Yeah.
The problem, I mean, he brings up the most talked about point. We've talked about this for years, right? People don't get into hockey because it's too expensive and it's not like simple like with baseball, basketball, and football, right? You just pick up a ball and you're good. Yeah, well, maybe not with baseball necessarily.
For football, I was going to say there's some expensive equipment that would come with it.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that like if you want to go play football with your friends, you just have a ball and you're fine.
Yeah.
Basketball, same thing. Baseball, you need a ball and a bat, but still you can make a bat out of anything. With hockey, I mean,
road hockey.
Yeah, road hockey. Yeah, roller hockey.
Yeah.
But you know, it's tough when your family is spending well over $1,000 for your kid to play a sport at age 10.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's very hard to
I can honestly say, so I played for 18 years in house league hockey. Right, every Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
That's a full career right there.
A full fucking career of house league. I played.
Kyle's in the Hall of Fame for
I fucking played till you. Well, you can play up until you were. Oh, sorry, maybe that was going overboard. I think it was more like 15 years because I started when I was like 5 till 18. So that was over exaggerating, but not the point. The point is the best years for me was house league hockey, and I wanted to preach that for so long because to me, like, that's where you make the memories, right? Without having to worry about the cost. Because with the rec teams, it's like, yeah, okay, you get to be a part of your town's team, and you do all this traveling and stuff, but it's the cost of those nowadays is fucking ridiculous. The best times that I had were house league hockey. You go there you'll have Saturday or Sunday games, whatever those nights may be. You know, if you're sometimes lucky where you'll have like a fun tournament get together with another team, like a house league team from another town or however it works. But like my fondest memories were house league hockey and like winning the title when I was like 14. And like, it was the whole 9 yards too.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like we fucking won the cup because we were lucky enough to have stands where like there was parents, there was friends like that were all there. Like we had like a tunnel like at this arena where like you can like run out onto the ice. It was like unbelievable, right? And like it was cheap in the way to do it too. And like for me, I'll never forget those memories because that was the way to do it. Like it was the best time I ever had. And I always preach for house league hockey because that's where you make a lot of friends. That's where you meet a lot of great people. And you know, it's just so much fun to be a part of. It really is.
It really is. And, I do agree that hockey culture is not where it should be. They kind of make it like, we'll welcome you if you can do it. But if you can't, like, it sucks.
With
football in baseball and basketball, there's opportunities everywhere, from rec to travel to just playing with your friends. Like there's so many options out there. So it's just harder for people to be able to just go in and do and just have the opportunity to play. And I think also the NHL very much has like the old boys club where it's like, hey, this is who we are. We're not really trying to promote the game, even though they say they do. Like I think, quite frankly, Gary Bettman, excuse my language, most of the time is full of shit.
He is full of shit.
He just says things because that's just what it is. He wants to BS us, and most of the fans in the NHL know that he's full of shit. And it's just, this is unfortunately how it goes, and it sucks. But it's just, it starts from the bottom, the grassroots, and needs to work its way up. And I unfortunately don't see a period where it's going to change right now, unfortunately.
Who doesn't think that Bettman sucks is the group of owners that he has up there, right? Like the majority, like the owners from, like they talk about the major, like the big group where it's like the Boston Bruins owner, the Toronto Maple Leafs owner, blah, 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 as they're kind of getting in, they're going to start the third period soon. One more commercial break. But like the sad thing about it is if and when Bettman goes, someone within that little ownership group is going to take his place. One of his buddies will take his place.
Probably John Daly.
Exactly. John Daly will probably go into his place.
And this never going to see. Talk about this as well. Just hiring the same 20. That's another part of the problem.
That's part of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're never going to see a commissioner of the NHL who's 40 years old, who's 30 years old, who's in his late 20s looking to jump. Like if there's something that you need, why the fuck are you not giving it to the younger generation?
Yeah.
These guys need to go. They've needed to go for fucking years. They've needed to go. And you're right. It's very sad. It's the repetition of coaches who keep getting opportunities over and over again. You're hearing names like Joel Quenneville, who's starting to try to get back into the NHL after the bullshit that went down with Kyle Beach, which is fucking ridiculous. It's just repetition. Mike Babcock is fucking back in the league, and you're robbing the other guys of trying to have a head coaching opportunity.
And then once you become a coach, in the NHL and you build some sort of a reputation, then there's a chance you're going to get more opportunities. Like John Hines almost became the head coach of the Rangers if it wasn't for Peter Laviolette. Why? Because he's been a coach before. This is the problem. Yeah. Like, even the Devils hiring Lindy Ruff was another example of he's been a coach before instead of doing it differently. Now, in the NBA, they're kind of going more towards the inexperienced coach, which is not a good idea either. And I'm talking about a guy who's never coached, period.
Right.
Never an assistant, never a head coach. Like when the Nets hired Steve Nash, he had never coached before. The Toronto Raptors, they almost hired JJ Redick as their head coach, who has never coached before.
But he's played the game.
Jason Kidd. Now, Jason Kidd is a different example. He never coached, yes, but he was basically a coach on the court. So by the time he became a coach, he was kind of already in that position anyway. But in the NHL, it's the same damn guys every single time. Calgary is the different example because while Huska has been in the organization, it's not a recycle job. It's hey, he's been here. He knows what we want to do. The team likes him. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Give him the chance to jump to that next level of his career.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
But with Huska, I think he started out in, I don't know if it was the ECHL or whatever it was, but he worked his way up. And that's why I love that he's getting the opportunity, because he worked his way up. He spent a little bit of time as the assistant coach for a couple of years, and now he's getting the crack at head coach, which is what it should be. This is what it should be. It shouldn't be fucking Peter Laviolette coaching in his 30th fucking season or whatever it is now, as the third period's getting underway now.
Third period is underway. And guys, like, a lot of the time here in the start is going to be just us kind of talking and reflecting about on things because, like, it's 6-1.
Questions. Give us questions. Give us everything.
Yeah. So I'll start with this question. It's from Jonas. He asked me this earlier, and obviously, okay. You guys know that I cover the Devils. And by the way, new episode, Devils State of Mind podcast, will be out Thursday. Also, my birthday, in case you'd like to know. I'll be turning. Okay, not right now. He says, Neil, your thoughts on Timo Meier and Jesper Bratt contracts? They are both restricted free agents with the Devils. Good question. Very good question. Thank you for it, Jonas. Here's the thing about that. Jesper Bratt has been offered, according to Pierre LeBrun, a max 8-year contract. And Jesper Bratt and his agent, Joel Person, are thinking about it. But Pierre LeBrun did mention that it's possible that because the salary cap is going to be going up, like it was supposed to a couple of years ago, now is actually going to go up, that Bratt and Pearson might go a shorter-term deal, 3 or 4 years, to allow Bratt to then capitalize on a larger cap and cash in on a more lucrative deal. This has been the assumption. With Timo Meier, he is an RFA. He has a qualifying offer of $10 million. The Devils don't really want to have to deal with the qualifying offer because $10 million even for 1 year is a lot of cap for one guy.
Right.
I think the Devils, it'll be much easier to get a deal done with Meier. They've already been talking. I think he will get something between $8.5 million per year. So I'm not worried about Timo. With Bratt, I mean, it went all the way down to the day of arbitration before they signed a 1-year deal to prevent arbitration. And so now we're into June, which is now over a month since the season ended. We are less than 3 weeks away from free agency, and we have no idea if a deal is close or not. So, and Jack Hughes made it a point to say, hey, if you want to be here, if you keep saying you want to be here, you believe in this team, then make it easy on the Devils. Sign the damn thing, stop making this complicated, and go from there. That's the way that Jack Hughes looks at it. That's the way Jonas Siegenthaler put it when he signed his deal long-term in New Jersey. And for some reason with Bratt and his agent, they have made it very, very difficult since Bratt became an RFA last season. And Bratt said it in his exit interview, I'll see you guys for the next couple of years. Well, if that's the case, then why is the deal still not done? If it's that easy and everything is good, why is the deal not done? So,
because they don't tell you things behind closed doors.
No, they don't. And the other problem is this. I think Jesper Bratt believes his value is more than what it actually is.
Like a lot of people. Purely people.
We watched it. You know how many goals Jesper Bratt scored the entire playoffs of the 12 games the Devils were in?
1, 2.
1. And you know what that goal was?
What? An empty netter?
It was an empty netter in Game 7 against the Rangers when the Devils were already up 3-0 late in the third. AKA a very meaningless goal. Other than that, Bratt had 4 assists. He had 5 assists. He had a goal and 5 assists, 6 points. Now, Timo Meier did not get going until the end. But guess what? He still had more goals and points than Bratt.
Right.
If the Devils can't get a deal done, there's only one guy I could see the Devils trying to acquire in a deal for Bratt, and that's Alex DeBrincat. Because Alex DeBrincat looks like he doesn't necessarily want to be in Ottawa long term. I don't think it's that Ottawa doesn't want to make a deal done. I think it's more that DeBrincat maybe doesn't feel like Ottawa's the right place for him long term.
Real quick with DeBrincat, he was going to wait to see who the ownership group was going to be for the Senators. So now that was decided today, you're probably going to find out within the next couple of days of whether or not DeBrincat will sign long term, because it was going to weigh heavily on who the ownership was going to be for the Senators.
And apparently him and his agent did give a list of teams that DeBrincat would be interested in going to. So I don't know. We don't know who those teams are. We're just going to assume teams. But the problem with Brad is that everybody wants him here, but he's making it at times unreasonable.
Right.
And it's becoming a problem. So I don't know what's going to happen with
this offseason is going to be nuts.
It is going to be nuts. I think we're going to see a lot of trades that we didn't see coming.
Oh, 100%. We didn't see the
guys are getting moved. There's a lot. Most of the teams in the league, Kyle, are not even close to the cap.
Carter Hart might get dealt.
Cool. He's. I mean, like, he needs to get out of Philly.
He does need to get out. But man,
like, going to Toronto,
might get dealt. Scheifele might get. Winnipeg looks like it's a dumpster fire. Calgary might move.
Konechny might get dealt, which was a shock to me.
Travis Konechny might get dealt. I mean, he likes living in Calgary. He's got a house there, so who knows what's going to happen there. But Toronto still has to figure their shit out. There's so many things that have to happen before July 1st.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, like, when we do our live draft that night, it's not going to go smoothly. Something's going to happen.
Something will happen. And that's going to be
going to get desperate real quick.
It's going to be something. I think so. We'll see. I don't know. It's so easy for like the Devils have more than enough cap space to sign both guys. I still think at the end of the day they're going to get deals done. As I just don't know why it's constantly been this difficult. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. Thank you to Angus as well. Thank you guys for the early birthday wishes. I do appreciate that.
Right.
By the way, in case you want to know, there's 14 and a half minutes to go in the third period. It's still 6-1 Vegas. Nothing has changed.
Nothing's going on, really.
We're not going to like it.
The refs are kind of letting them play.
Because it's not even really. I mean, I could have sold my seat for $10,000. Wow. But screw it. I want to see.
Bill Foley, playoffs in 3, cup in 6, period. No excuses. That's the standard. What? This was Bill Foley. Oh, this was him when they got the expansion. He said
that's what I was referring to. He said early on that's what he wanted.
Oh, got it. Wow.
By the way, I'm looking here at like the score predictions. There's like 2 people who are
relatively
close, but they needed an extra goal to add on. As now, 2-on-1. I got snuffed out. Never mind. Also, somebody did ask me, I don't know if I ever answered it. Someone asked me who my favorite Devil was.
Current. Well, I answered the Flames one, current and former. So current and former.
So current is Nico Hischier.
Okay.
I love the captain. I love what he stands for. All time is a very obvious one, and that is Marty Brodeur. There's a couple others who are like 1B.
Okay.
Like they're weird reasons for it.
It is packed outside of that arena in Vegas.
Oh, they're ready to go. And
so many people there. Holy shit.
I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but those strip clubs are going to be packed tonight. Just going to point that out.
It's going to get fucked there tonight.
Also, someone tweeted this out. TNT showed it. Someone said the keeper of the cup, he better have gotten a good night's rest because he is going to have a long night ahead of him.
True.
Because remember, guys, it is only 7:00 Vegas time.
Right. They're going to win the cup.
The night is young.
15 minutes.
The sun is still out. The night is young, ladies and gentlemen.
It's fucked. Oh my god.
So,
let's talk real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to focus it back to the game a little bit.
Sure.
And I do want to give props, as much as I've hated their run because of who was on the team and all that as a Flames guy. I want to give full props to Florida for having an unbelievable playoff run and an unbelievable season, and the way that it kind of turned out. Matthew Tkachuk is a top 3, top 5 player, however you want to put it. I think it surprised everybody, right? It's surprised. Like I'm happy for Bobrovsky and how he kind of had a resurgence, right? I'm happy for Barkov too. I'm happy for Sam Bennett for getting a crack at it. I'm happy for a lot of those guys on that team, and I think you have to give this Florida team a shitload of credit for the teams that they got through to get to this point, to get through Boston, to get through Toronto, to get through Carolina, which, even though it was a sweep, it really, it could have gone the other way because a couple of the overtimes, right?
Right.
You got to give them full credit where credit is due, man. This was a sensational run by Florida, which I don't think a lot of us have seen probably since the 8 seed Kings did back in 2012 or whatever it was. So yeah, I kind of assumed that this was the path that was going to go down tonight, considering the way that we saw the game transpiring. And you just kind of saw, even when Tkachuk, you saw him being very limited in game 4. That really did feel like the final stand that they had was game 4, right? If they were ever going to get back into this series, for me, it was that game. And once that happened, and then you see Tkachuk getting out for tonight, which is a major piece to this team, it really tells the tale of this Florida team for the Stanley Cup Finals. So, but full credit to them. I thought they played lights out. They were undefeated in overtime throughout the entire playoffs, and they deserve a lot of credit.
They had an unbelievable season, and I think that Florida is just getting started when it comes to their opportunities to.
I hope not.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure some people don't wish that, but it's going to be tough to not only have your season come to an end, is now a breakaway chance for Mark Stone, and he misses the net. He nearly got a hat trick.
I thought it was
that's a 2-on-1. Yeah, I know. But it's a shot there. Wow, what a glove save from Aiden Hill, robbing Anthony Duclair.
So, for Vegas, let's name off some of the guys who are going to win the Cup tonight. The big one, Phil Kessel, is going to win another Stanley Cup.
Phil Kessel's going to win a third Cup. And you know what? Let's make Phil Kessel the first one to hoist the Cup.
I want to see him, if we're on the stream, I want to see him lift that Cup tonight. Oh my fucking God, that would be so funny. Aiden Hill is not getting enough love. He's going to win the Cup tonight. But also, too, it wasn't just Aiden Hill. It was also Brossois. It was also Logan Thompson throughout the season. It was a multitude of guys throughout that Vegas lineup. Jonathan Quick came in for 12 games. Jonathan Quick's going to win another Stanley Cup.
Jonathan Quick's going to win another Cup. I just realized that.
Jonathan Quick's going to win another Stanley Cup.
It's the fourth string goaltender on this team?
The Kings traded him out of the blue. He was
for no reason.
He was pissed off that he got sent to Columbus, but Columbus was going to flip him anyway to a better team. And they did.
Columbus said to Quick right away, we're not.
We're not keeping you.
Give Jarmo Kekalainen a lot of credit. He said, look, we want to do right by you. You tell us where you want to go, and we'll make it. We'll get it
done. Yeah, so huge credit for Jarmo there for doing that. So
shout out to Jonathan Quick, Columbus Blue Jackets legend.
Yep. Jack Eichel is going to get his first Stanley Cup tonight. Sabres fans are going to hate that.
Every Sabres fan is going to punch the air tonight.
A lot. Former Florida Panthers, Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith are going to be Stanley Cup champions. Former Ottawa Senator Mark Stone is going to be a Stanley Cup champion. Alex Pietrangelo is going to get
Ivan Barbashev as well, former St. Louis Blues.
Yep. Pietrangelo is going to be getting another Stanley. This will be his second Stanley Cup in the last 4 years. 4 years? Yeah. It was 2019, I think. Yeah. So good for Pietrangelo. Alec Martinez will get his third Stanley Cup.
Alec Martinez and Jonathan Quick can sit there tonight and both celebrate that former Kings that
are going to win
the fountain of youth for one more Cup run. Now, here's the thing, Kyle. Do you think Jonathan Quick retires after this year?
He's how old? Let's find out. Jonathan Quick. He is, let's see, Quick for Vegas.
I can't believe it. I'm still it's also really messed up, Kyle.
37 years old. Sorry, yes.
37. A year ago tomorrow, the Golden Knights hired Bruce Cassidy as their head coach.
And Cassidy's going to be a Stanley Cup champion.
Well, the Bruins had a nice first-round exit. Bro, he's actually crying on the bench.
Who?
Bruce Cassidy. He actually was crying. It's 11 minutes, 48 seconds to go.
Just now?
It looked like he was doing this a lot. So I don't know if it was crying or sweat, but like.
I haven't seen anything. Man, Sportsnet sucks for showing these feeds.
And it's 7-1. It's a touchdown. It's Ivan Barbashev with the goal. And okay, can we pull Bobrovsky? Like, I feel bad for him at this point. It's like let him go. Like, let him go to the bench.
Oh, Marc-Andre Fleury got traded. That's right.
No, he doesn't win a cup though.
No, but I mean, I'm saying like he got traded. Yeah, right? Like, and now rough. He's not going to get it. That is rough. I mean, he's won.
He's probably pissed too, honestly.
Oh, he's probably pissed, but at least he's won cup.
So pissed.
Jack Eichel with another assist. He hasn't scored a goal all Stanley Cup Final.
See, now I'm starting to think that Eichel might actually win it. Now I'm starting to think, especially with this game, like I feel like he's going to.
Well, let's see who's leading. I want to see. I just want to see who's leading in points.
Did Jonathan Marchessault get a point on that? Because if he did, Kyle, if he did, he will finish the Stanley Cup playoffs on an 11-game point streak.
Marchessault had an assist in the second goal.
Okay, so on the second goal. Okay, and wow, Sam Reinhart with a bomb that beats Aiden Hill, and it's 7-2.
They're not even celebrating. They're like, whatever.
Sam Reinhart
acknowledging him.
Sam Reinhart makes it 7-2. We are nearly at 10 goals tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to see the stats for.
You bet the over tonight. Good for you.
10 out of 10.
Over 6.5. You bet over 6.5. Good for you, man. Honestly.
I gotta find the playoff stats. Playoff stats.
I like Andrew's comment here. Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for Florida. They scored more than one goal tonight.
That's awesome. Jonathan Marchessault is 24 points. Jack Eichel has 23 points. Mark Stone 21. Chandler Stevenson is 19. Barbashev. Look, like this is crazy to me. So Stevenson was 19. Barbashev is 17. Carlson has 16. Riley Smith has 12. Shea Theodore, Nicholas Raw have 10. And then it goes Howden, Amadio, Pietrangelo, Whitecloud all with 9 points. That's what I mean. Like these guys can do everywhere. Phil Kessel has played 4 games and has 2 assists in the playoffs.
Shut up, Phil Kessel, man. Phil Kessel's a Stanley Cup champion. He already was, but he's about to be again.
Michael Amadio, former Toronto Maple Leaf, who will win a Stanley Cup.
Sick, dude. It's just funny. It's just
it goes on and on. Now it was Tyler.
By the way, Giselle is back, but now she's on YouTube. Hey. Shout out Giselle for coming back. 7-2. Yes, both teams 27 shots apiece. So
this is going to be a great celebration. But it's also a celebration for us, for the whole network. Great. I know we only have a couple people on or whatever, 14, but still, this is like a shout out to what a crazy year it's been. This was my first full year, and it was awesome. And I can't wait for next season. I can't wait for the shit that we have planned for next season. Same. I can't wait for the draft that we have at the end of the month. That's going to be so much fun. But like, just super happy to be a part of it, and I'm just excited for what's next. It's gonna be great. I'm too excited.
Truer words were never spoken, Kyle. Really, really good points. I mean, yeah, for myself, this is the end of year 4 for me. Yeah. It started back in 2020. Yeah. This is the second year we've done YouTube. We started the season before, and I mean, for me to have the opportunity to call Devils playoff games, and for you guys to see that emotion from me throughout the first round and even into the second round. I mean, I couldn't think of a better time as Marchessault nearly scored. That would have been well-timed.
Good save. Why is Bobrovsky still in that?
I don't know. They just want to punish him at this point. I don't freaking know anymore. But
anyway, sorry.
Interacting with everybody, hanging out with Kyle, like even from the first game that we did together, game 1 between Devils Rangers, which was ironically
that was a good series. That was a good series, though.
It was a great 7-game series. I love doing games with basically anybody. I really love doing these things. I love all the comments. I've gotten a lot of compliments over my time, and it's really been a lot of fun. And I know for myself, I'm very excited about where things are going with my podcast. I'm excited about where things are going with THPN. I've gotten a ton of direct messages from different podcasts who have asked me about my time with THPN. And, I've said nothing but great things because, from Dylan to Kyle to even Isha, who's obviously no longer with the network. I mean, they've built something that's really special. Shout out to Amaze for helping us and really helping us move forward. Shout out to all the old podcasts and the new podcasts as well. This has been great. And like you said, we're starting next season in like 2 weeks. Like that draft party is going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. I'd like to think the draft is like because it's gonna be tough for July and August a little bit. We were talking about it today. We're still figuring out. I think what you're gonna get a lot of is a lot of instant reaction to trades and anything else that kind of happens like in the moment. So we're gonna be doing a lot of instant reaction videos that'll be posted on YouTube and all that. I need a summer break a little bit. It's been crazy.
I think we all do. I know for myself, I've kind of I've been a little bit more crazy. I've been a little bit more inconsistent with the podcast since the season ended, just because you go from October all the way to May of just nonstop coverage, and everybody understands it. You need a break, and even for myself now, I kind of still take time off. I went on vacation. Over the weekend, I had a lot of fun. I'm going to Disney July 1st with my girlfriend and her mom, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Florida or California?
Florida. We're going to Orlando.
Florida. Okay, nice. Oh,
so I'll be there. I'll be there during 4th of July weekend, which I know is going to be
that's going to be
nightmare. But you know what? It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to spend time with my girlfriend and her mom. Her mom's birthday is during that week, so we're there to celebrate her birthday.
Very good.
And it's, it's going to be a lot of fun once next season really kind of starts rolling around in like September. Oh, it's 7-3.
Oh,
I think Sam Bennett just scored.
Yeah.
So Florida is trying to make it interesting.
It's 4 goals in 8 minutes. Good luck.
I mean, this is where both teams just don't like Bruce Cassidy.
How the fuck did that go in?
No, Bruce Cassidy's on the bench. Like, I'm about to make you guys do back skating after this game. Like, you're all getting. Oh no, Pietrangelo! What a deflection from Pietrangelo. Too bad it's in his own net. It was beautiful.
I love how he's like, how the fuck did that go in? And then he looked, he's like, oh yeah, it's off my own stick.
Oh yeah, it's mine.
But yeah, like it's gonna be, it's gonna be a fun season next year. We're gonna plan a lot of fun stuff next year. Just a lot. I think just a lot. I'm excited for having another full season at it again, and we're gonna hit 100 podcasts soon. We're getting close.
We're almost there. It's crazy to think about.
We're getting really close. Like I think we're at like.
We got to do some sort of like celebration or like shout out or something like that to have like 100 podcasts. Like that's crazy.
Sorry, I'm just reading this golf thing because you know how they're merging with like the two.
Oh yeah, I just saw like the PGA commissioner like has health problems or something.
That's such a load of horse shit. He's day to day has informed the PGA Tour's policy board that he is recuperating from a medical situation.
Nice.
So the U.S. Open is this weekend. This is the third major of the 4.
Talking about golf, by the way, in case nobody understands what we're talking about.
Well, so they're merging the leagues. Long story short, they're merging the leagues. No one's happy about it. The players are pissed off because they went behind their backs and
the PGA out. Can we just call it like it is? The PGA accepted the fact that they were not financially going to be able to compete with Live Golf, and so they took the very easy way out, and they decided, you know what? We just want to keep our money. So we're going to just do a merger. And Live Golf won. Basically, what we have done is we have basically said the Saudis won. And that doesn't sit well with a lot of people.
No. What got confusing, though, about it is it's not Live. And this was my fault, too, because I didn't know this. It's the investment fund from Saudi Arabia that's part of this. Live Golf is dead. There is no more Live Golf.
Okay.
Right? So everybody was thinking that it's Live Golf and PGA the Tour merging. It's not. It's the investment fund that's funding that Live Tour that's going to help fund the PGA Tour and this other DP World Tour thing. Blah blah blah.
Right.
But yeah, now this stupid commissioner because it's the U.S. Open, because all the media outlets are going to be there because they weren't at the Canadian Open last weekend, which they should have been, and they want answers. And now he's not going to be there because he has some medical issue. He's a fraud. He doesn't survive it. He won't. He will be fired, and he will not survive it.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off, but Florida just pulled Bobrovsky empty net with 6:43 to go.
I don't blame him. Do it.
I guess. And it doesn't matter because Marchessault just... Oh, no, he hit the post. Sorry. I mean, it was just like... It was almost like seconds after they did that. They almost... Oh,
I don't blame Florida for pulling the goalie. Why not?
No, I know. I don't blame him either. It's just more like, oh, God, it's going to get worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe Florida will score 2 more goals and make it look like it was closer than it was.
Do you think if Matthew Tkachuk was on the ice, that, because there's been little fights tonight, no scrums, none of that shit has happened tonight. Do you think there would have been more of that if Tkachuk was on the ice in this third period more specifically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think for Matthew Tkachuk, he would have been very...
I was afraid that if Vegas was going to win, well, they are going to win it tonight, but so let's say it's 7-3, let's say Tkachuk is on the ice. I was afraid that when the clock hits 0, that a fucking massive fight was going to break out, just like at the end of Game 4.
Right? Can you imagine? Right? Can you imagine if that happened at the end of this game? Like there's like a celebration, but you get stopped because these teams are fighting each other.
All of a sudden, Tkachuk comes out of the dressing room.
He's like in full gear. Like, wait, what the hell?
Boxing gloves and shit.
Jesus.
Well, we got about 6 minutes left.
Mark Stone just missed the net for the second time already. Like he's missed. He needs a goal for the hat trick. Oh, he got it again, and he scores. Is it Mark Stone? It is Mark Stone. So Mark Stone gets a hattie in the clinching game to win the Stanley Cup. How about that?
A hat trick for Mark Stone. Good for him.
Unless you're an Ottawa fan, then no, not good for him.
Well, Eugene Melnyk kind of fucked that up, so.
Well, Eugene Melnyk is dead, so.
True.
I like how you were completely silent on that one. Like, yeah.
I was like, wow, that was dark. I mean, he did.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's how most like Senators fans react to. Like, well, he's dead.
He's gone.
So,
it doesn't
I feel bad. By the way, I feel bad for like the Vegas like ice crew. Like now they have to like go and get all these hats. It's like all it does is like it just delays like the inevitable.
Wow.
Did Mark Stone almost no, actually no. He almost missed that. I just want to point that out. Like I'm just saying, like nice shot. It actually rolled. It ended up rolling like
I thought it was going wide. I thought it was going
I was like, oh, it's going wide again. He missed it. Wow.
I think there's been I think this
is bad. Bro, if you're a South Florida sports fan, you've had a rough 48 hours.
Yeah, but still, you have to be proud. The Heat weren't supposed to be.
No question. Now,
the fucking Panthers weren't supposed to be here.
I want to get your opinion on this because it's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's reported that the Miami Heat are going to be quote unquote going star hunting in the offseason to find like another guy to pair with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Do you think it's time for Florida to do the same thing? The Panthers
to go star hunting?
Yeah, get another big name.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know who's like if we're talking specifically free agency, like
Jesper
we're not
Bratt.
Talk about trade. Yeah, Jesper Bratt.
Jesper Bratt.
I would imagine that it depends on their cap though too, right? Free agents this coming season.
Oh, by the way, Mark Stone is the first captain in Stanley Cup playoff history to score a hat trick in the clinching game.
Good for him. That's fucking awesome. Good for him. And you know what? He deserves it, right? But so here are your free agents coming up. So you've got, I'm just going to list them off, just like 10 or 12. Kane, Taves, O'Reilly, Tarasenko, Van Riemsdyk, Klingberg, Pacioretty, Monahan, Lucic, Dumba, Zucker. Now I'm just trying to find notable ones. Orlov, Dadonov, Bergeron, Tyler Bertuzzi, Killorn. There's not a lot, but I think you can grab some guys in there to fill out that bottom six a little bit. Because really for Florida, actually, you know what? No, they won't go star hunting because they have the there is something there. They already went star hunting. They fucking did it last season.
Right.
Right? So I think if they fulfill more of, I'm just trying to think, like, because they were an 8. The stupid thing is they were an 8 seed coming in, and they just caught lightning in a bottle. So what I wonder is, like, what else do they need to add?
Goaltending.
If Bobrovsky keeps
I'm
this
just
up,
saying,
right? Like
Bobrovsky, other than that period during these playoffs where he was rock solid, has been brutal.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, like, because Bobrovsky, you just caught lightning in a bottle too, right? And he's getting paid $10.5 million, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Artemi Panarin. I'll give you a name, Artemi Panarin.
Well, he's not a free agent.
No, but he could be traded. Right. Apparently, there's rumors that he's going to get dealt.
Oh, no fucking way.
Not that he's going to get dealt, but that the Rangers were thinking about this last year, and now it's coming up again because the Rangers are pissed that, like, he hasn't shown up in the playoffs, and understandably so, he hasn't.
We watched it.
We watched him do nothing through 7 games.
Nothing.
He was irrelevant. So, like, is that a star? Sure, we're gonna go that way with it. Yeah, I mean,
sorry, I'm falling in love with the Stanley Cup right now.
Yeah, I know. They're just staring. I'm staring at the cup.
They were just showing the last year's Cup winners in Colorado.
I saw that too.
Was on there. Yeah,
8-3. Do I keep the score up at this point? Probably not.
Yeah, keep it up. Why not?
Yeah,
we got a couple minutes left. Might as well keep it up. Because this is their last one until the beginning of next season.
Have you ever heard of the movie Sudden Death? Danelle was asking that.
Nope.
I've never heard of it either.
But I'm going to look it up now.
When in doubt, look it up.
Sudden Death movie. Come on, give me a big star. 1995 Sudden Death.
Is it a hockey movie?
It is not. It looks like an action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Karen Baldwin. I don't know some of these guys. I don't know any of these guys. Jim Jimerson. I don't know who he is. Anyway, whatever. Michael Gaston. Yeah, no, I've never heard of the movie.
Interesting.
Anyway, 5 minutes left here. Just run the clock, guys. Come on.
5 minutes. Yeah, like, can we have like continuous clock at this point? Like,
yeah,
It's very Vegas treats their players like garbage, and I'm going to congratulate them. Not going to. So, now, see, that's a good point, though. Is like we've heard a lot of really unpleasant stories about Vegas's management and like what they've done to alienate some guys. Like you look at how things went with Marc-Andre Fleury and Nate Schmidt, even when he got dealt to Winnipeg. And I mean, there was a time, Kyle, where they were thinking about like trading. I mean, they got rid of Pacioretty. Yep. They've gotten rid of a bunch of different guys.
Yep.
And they almost got rid of guys like Carlson and Riley Smith and even Marchessault and everything. And so I think there is still a level of dislike throughout most of the league for Vegas because of how things went their first year and how things have gone since they've gotten into the league and how most teams have never even seen that much success in a 5-year span. And Vegas is on their way to winning a Stanley Cup in just its 6th season of existence.
So that comment, I say, too bad, so sad, suck it up, because who cares? Who cares? It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault at the expansion, right? That they got the players who they got, right? Every single team left players out there, right? And they got who they got. And you're right. Like they probably did. Like a lot of us don't like them for some of the decisions that they make, like, the trading of Fleury and, Pacioretty and like alienating players. I get it. But, this is not a hockey league. This is a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking business. And they don't give a rat's. The guys in the upper management do not give a rat's ass if they have to trade Jack Eichel next season, if that's going to give them a better chance to win a Stanley Cup.
No.
It's a business. This is not a hockey league. This is a business league. The Vegas Golden Knights swindled the system this season with the salary cap, just like the Tampa Bay Lightning did when they won their Stanley Cups.
The LTIR,
With the LTIR, Vegas did the exact same thing, and look where it's gotten them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Tampa didn't do anything wrong. They just did what was legal. There wasn't any cheating going on, and Vegas did the
Vegas
same
hasn't
thing.
cheated.
It's a
Vegas
problem.
isn't cheating.
If you want to blame somebody for that, blame the league.
Blame the league.
Blame the league. That's their fault.
Yeah. Blame
That's
the league.
their fault for that. Here's a good example, Kyle, of what you just mentioned. Look at the Chicago Bulls when they won those 6 championships, right?
Okay.
Brian Krause was the GM.
Okay.
Most of the guys on the Bulls hated him.
Oh.
Phil Jackson had a bad relationship with Krause.
This is the owner, correct?
Yeah. No, he was the GM. He was the GM.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen despised him, and he was the guy that decided in 1998, this is the last year of our run, when the Bulls were still in prime position to win multiple more championships. But at the end of the day, Krause didn't care because he understood valuing talent. He found these guys when nobody else would look for him, and ultimately he won 6 championships in 8 years.
Right.
Again, it's a business. We don't like it.
Every league is a business.
Every league is a business. When you start bitching about, now granted, some owners are a different, like Dan Snyder, who used to be the owner of the Washington Commanders. That's a different story altogether. James Dolan, I think you're kind of pushing it with him. James Dolan, like nobody cares about James Dolan, the hockey owner. Nobody. Right. They care about him as the Knicks owner because he spends so much time being involved.
Okay.
I've said it before, with the Rangers, he doesn't do anything. Like, he just hires people and lets them do their job.
And he doesn't care.
And he doesn't care. He just doesn't. Like, if you would have, here's a good example, Kyle. I'll give you a really good example. Stan Kroenke. You know who that is?
Rings a bell.
Owner of the Colorado Avalanche, owner of the Denver Nuggets, owner of the Los Angeles effing Rams. This guy, an owner of Arsenal as well, the soccer team.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? He is an asshole. He is a straight up asshole. He has actually forced people to be removed from their homes because of his businesses.
Right.
Because he wants to build over their land. He is an asshole. But here's the thing. He's won an NBA championship. He just won one last night. He won a Stanley Cup the year before. He won a Stanley Cup. He almost won the Premier League this year if Arsenal didn't blow it at the end. And he won a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Right.
And he's an asshole. Let me emphasize that again. Stay with me, Kyle. He's an asshole. Like, that's what it is. But he did it for business reasons.
Yes.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
It did.
Kyle, you remember, Kyle, you know football. Obviously, you're a Seahawks fan. Do you remember the whole trend with the Rams was F them picks?
Fuck the picks.
That's really what Stan Kroenke's all about. He doesn't care. He just wants to, it's like,
win.
So with Vegas, don't blame Bill Foley for what he does, man. Know what? He wanted a team. He got a team. Some teams in the NHL that year were morons, like Pittsburgh, morons. Florida, 2 of their players are about to win a cup against them.
Speaking of which, Neil, we got a minute left before the cup will be awarded. Count us down.
All right, so minute 13 to go. We
got a minute left.
Minute 13 to go in this cup final, which is definitely on its way to being over. So this, unfortunately, is the last game of the NHL season. So the season comes to an end on June 13th. They're showing right now Bill Foley announcing it back on November 22nd, 2016, about his plans to win a cup in 6 years. And 6 years later, he is a minute 5 away. Oh, what a save from Bobrovsky. Rebound try, and Nicholas Waugh scores. Because why not? It is 9-3.
Fuck you.
There's no reason for that nonsense. And it's 9-3. We have 12 goals This is 2023, and we have 12 goals.
Fuck off.
This is so unnecessary.
It is. They really needed to do that.
Brandon Montour looks like he just got the worst news you could ever get. He's just on the bench, just stunned. Because it's one thing. Here's the thing: it's one thing to lose the series clinching game, Kyle. It's another to get blown out.
It's another thing to get your ass kicked, bent over, and a steel toe boot.
Danelle, I had Panthers in 6, by the way, just so you know.
I had Vegas in 5.
Okay, so
I'm not saying that. I had Vegas in 5.
All right, so Kyle had it right. So 40 seconds to go. And 6 years ago, the Vegas Golden Knights became a team. Their first year, they went all the way to the Cup Final and lost to the Washington Capitals in 5 games. They had a lot of different things go on in their early history, a lot of disappointments, a lot of embarrassments. 2019 blowing a 3 games to 1 lead to San Jose. But none of that matters now because, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in franchise history, the Vegas Golden Knights have won the Stanley Cup.
Good for them. Man, they all ran on the ice with 7 seconds left still.
Yeah, they were like, screw the too many men on the ice penalty. Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
But yes, the Vegas Golden Knights, the 32nd franchise in NHL history, in just year number 6, has won their first ever Stanley Cup. Mission accomplished. The long grind, I guess you want to call it, the ups and downs has all been worth it. Jack Eichel is a Stanley Cup champion in his first year in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Phil Kessel is a Stanley Cup champion for the 3rd freaking time in his career. Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith, 2 former Florida Panthers who were left unprotected in the expansion draft. They get the sweet satisfaction of beating their former team to win the cup. Mark Stone with a hat trick in game number 5. Nicholas Waugh scoring an absolutely unnecessary and pointless 9th goal to cover the over.
Jonathan Quick, you legend.
Warren Brossoit is on the ice in full gear, even though he's injured, but good for him.
Good for him.
Bruce Cassidy, the long journey has finally been worth it as he wins a Stanley Cup exactly 1 year after he was fired
from Boston
by the Boston Bruins.
Wow.
And now you got the Stahl brothers. The Stahl brothers are sitting there for Florida. You got to feel bad in particular for Mark Stahl, Kyle, because he's been in the league for so long. And this was, once again, another chance to win the cup. And again, his season ends in 5 games.
Yep.
Now that we're doing the handshake lines as both teams shaking it. And again, hats off to the Florida Panthers for an unbelievable ride.
We need about that right now.
It's unfortunate that it ends this way, but Vegas was just the better team. There's just no way. There's no other way to put it. They were just relentless, and they got it done. Also, we have 2 people in the stands wearing Israel hockey jerseys. That's sick.
That's crazy.
That's so random, but sick.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Logan Thompson.
Yes.
He played 2 years ago or 3 years ago, was in the ECHL, and now has won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Good for him. Yeah.
Jonathan Quick has won the Stanley Cup again. And he didn't.
Phil's on the ice. Phil's on the ice.
I don't see him. Is he in the handshake line?
He's in full gear.
Is he in the handshake line or no? I don't see him.
He's in the handshake line with full gear. He's number 8.
Right. He's 8, not 18. Jack Eichel, as happy as one could be, he had a really tough time in Buffalo. He wanted that surgery. Buffalo didn't want him to do it. He gets traded to Vegas. He immediately gets the surgery. He comes back late in the year. Vegas misses the playoffs. First full year, healthy and playing with the Golden Knights, and he helps lead them to a Stanley Cup in his first ever year playing in the postseason. What a job there.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from this season is that your starting goaltender, Adin Hill, is a Stanley Cup champion.
Adin Hill, who just 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen.
Wild.
Just 2 years ago was – oh, wow, that is Phil Kessel. Oh, my God, dude. Phil
Kessel is in full.
Phil Kessel's winning at a Stanley Cup.
I can't wait.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Good for Phil Kessel. But
I'm happy for Mark Stone though. Like I think out of all the Vegas guys, I really am. He had a lot of shit.
Look at Mark Stone, right? Mark Stone has been dealing with injury after injury after injury, and he even had that injury against Jamie Benn. Remember in the conference finals, he got cross-checked, and he kept battling, and he became the captain of this team. He was traded from Ottawa, and he helps lead Vegas to a Stanley Cup. And I think I'm
happy for him. Yeah, I really am. What a crazy run that we've had. Thank you guys I know we got 11 people on, but thank you guys for what was such a fun playoffs. It just makes me excited to do this all again next season. And to do some more games, do some more watch parties, do more live streams when the playoffs come around again. And for all the special events that we're going to have, we got a massive draft party coming up, and we hope you guys can join for that too. And it was a fantastic season, so I want to thank you all and you, Neil, for especially the ride that we went on in the whole playoffs. It seems fitting that it kind of ended with us.
You've pointed that out several times on social media that it is kind of fitting. I think it started with us, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it started with Richard.
Okay,
maybe.
Well, we were
anyway. Whatever.
You go all the way back to April, and now we're here in the middle of June. And just like the players who go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, it was well worth the ride. It has been so much fun to do this with you guys. We are continuing to build. We are building a network that we know you guys are going to be proud of. We have podcasts that cover every team. We have great personalities. We have people who come on here and do live watch-alongs, and you guys interact. We've had unbelievable streams sometimes, from some of the Olympic games that we did where we had 20,000 people watching, to the draft lottery, which had 18,000 plus people, to all the outdoor games we've done, the World Championships, the Junior World Championships, Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, it is great that we get the opportunity to do this, and we can't thank you guys enough for everything. And even the people who are not here right now who have interacted
we know
with us.
We know the people who were here, though, like during our Devils games where we had like over 100 people. We had 200 people at one point.
We had 200 people at times. It was crazy.
Right? But I understand why, like, it happens every year where you kind of get to the final and then you lose a lot of people just because it's not their team and it's maybe not the most sexy looking picks or Stanley Cup final team.
No question.
We totally understand that, right? But just for the people who did stay, like, we always appreciate that.
And thank you to some of the people who have been in our streams every time. Guys like, and I'm gonna probably not name everybody, but guys like Danelle, my good buddy Andrew, Angus, who's a member of the network, Jacob, who right now is probably absolutely losing his mind, RJ, our good buddy who gives us all of the stats, man. Thank you. Thank you to
wait, bring that up again, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. 3 stars of the game: Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, and Alec Martinez. Okay, Warren, who always keeps me laughing with the Anaheim Ducks and Los Angeles Angels. Sean Butcher, Peanut Man, thank you so much, boss. Andrew B, thank you as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you to everybody. And if I missed you, I do apologize. But you know that you are acknowledged. You guys,
of course,
were here. A lot of you guys were here from the beginning and really helped us grow so much. And we can't thank you enough for it. And I'm so excited for us as Jacob, of course, is here. Congratulations, Jacob.
I don't know who he's been rooting for all playoffs long. Like, it was the Rangers at first. I don't even know if it went to that.
He just, Jacob likes to be a troll. That's what he is.
Okay. Whatever.
He's a Vegas fan who also likes the Halifax Mooseheads. So there you go. He doesn't have any sort of regional reason to like a team, so he can like whoever. Eichel has more cups than Eichel. That is wrong, sort of. I don't know what Jacob. I don't know if you meant to say that or not, but
let's find out who wins the Conn Smythe. As the Conn Smythe looking like it is getting ready to be presented.
Yep.
To
and then you got Alex Pietrangelo. I feel like if you're a Blues fan, you got to be a little sad to see Pietrangelo because remember, Pietrangelo wanted to stay in St. Louis, and then obviously the cap didn't go up because of COVID, and then he ends up going to Vegas, and I'm sure that really was sad to see.
Yeah, and you know what? Like we talked about it earlier before they present the Conn Smythe real quick is like. The fact that Vegas has the Golden Knights, and that was the first one, right, that came onto the scene, and now they have a Stanley Cup, right? Like, that's going to elevate them over a lot of these other teams in Vegas with even with the Raiders, right? Like, the Raiders in there.
Raiders are terrible.
You know what I mean?
When they bring the A's in, if they get the A's, it's not good. Well, here's the other thing. People are not going to talk about this, but I will mention it. The Golden Knights are only the second team in Vegas to win a championship. The Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA won the WNBA title last year.
Right. So they have the Conn Smythe on the ice. Let's find out who is. You'll have the stream before me, so I'll let
Kyle, do you see the two Raiders fans and like right behind the boards? They're wearing Raiders like hockey jerseys.
I do see.
That is so cool.
That's sick.
Also, this celebration setup is really boring.
Yeah, you can only do so much, but I like when they do the cup and they have like the sparkles go off in the background. Like that's kind of neat.
Hey, right? Jacob, as somebody who's also a Raiders fan, I really hope you're right. It's not going to happen, but I really hope you're right.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo with an injury is gonna.
The Super Bowl for the Raiders would be for Jimmy Garoppolo to go the entire season without getting hurt.
Right, it's true.
So now we'll see here as Gary Bettman is talking as usual. He's probably getting booed like crazy because
those jerseys are so fucking cool. I love that.
The Raiders jerseys are sick. Yo, shout out to that is sick, dude.
They gotta do more of that. Here we go.
Also, you got four people behind Gary Bettman. Aiden Hill, like spelled out H-I-L. That is also sick. All right. Awesome. Can you just say it, Gary? Jack. Say something. Gary.
Second is Jack Eichel.
Is it Jack Eichel?
I think it's going to be Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel. So, Jack Eichel in his first year. I haven't confirmed it. Oh, no, sorry. Jonathan Marchessault.
Okay. Well, he said second in scoring, and I saw in the stats that he was second. So, that's why. But no.
Did Eichel jump him at the end? Is that what happened?
Maybe. Yeah,
Jonathan Marchessault, he ends the playoffs with a 10-game point streak, 7 goals, 8 assists, is your 2023 Conn Smythe MVP for playoff MVP for a guy who, again, was left unprotected in the expansion draft by the Florida Panthers. Yep. Fast forward 6 years later, one of the last remaining of the 6 Golden Misfits from the 17-18 team. Wins the
very well deserved. Now they got that bang on, and now we've all been waiting for.
It is the Stanley Cup, and there it is as it's slowly making its way onto the Vegas ice. Oh boy, Lord Stanley's going to have a hell of a night.
It just makes you giggle every time you see it, man.
It's crazy, and I took a picture with it. It's still nuts.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
How I think if you go to the Hall of Fame like tomorrow, it won't be there.
Oh, fuck no.
They'll have like one of the replicas. Like, oh, this is the one.
That's usually that's how they do it. It's always a replica. The real thing's never there. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. But Jack Eichel will be lifting the cup. Okay. Yes, I want this. I want it.
Oh, fucking God, that would be so fun.
I want Phil Kessel to be the first one to lift the cup. Give him the cup.
We're not leaving here until we see Phil Kessel lift the cup.
It's like hour goes by and Phil Kessel is yet to touch the cup.
Coverage ends.
Coverage is ended, and they're like, screw it. So Mark Stone is going to lift the Stanley Cup unless he doesn't. That's kind of the interesting thing. Does he lift it?
Oh.
Or does he pass it to somebody?
Speaking of lifting, the Panthers touched the Prince of Wales.
To be fair, though, Vegas touched their trophy too.
Did they?
I think they did. So, like,
I
to
don't
me,
think they did.
all right, whatever.
I don't think they did. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Why is there a Flyers fan in the stands? Why is this a thing? Like, why? Like, I don't get whatever. Oh, no, sorry. That's not a Flyers jersey. Sorry. That's that red Vegas jersey that they had for, like, that outdoor game at
when then they have the
Tahoe. Yeah, I never liked that one, honestly. I was not a fan of that.
Hey, get that
This gold one.
What's with the scarf?
Yeah, scarf. Oh, there go the light. There go the sparklers.
Come on.
Let him lift it, damn it.
There you go.
There he goes. Mark Stone. He lifts it over his head as he celebrates his first ever Stanley Cup championship. And let's see who he goes to first. He's skating. Okay, no, he's just taking a skate. Be careful, Mark. There's a lot of stuff on the ice. Why are the refs still on the ice?
As the Golden Knights.
Wait, why are the referees still on the ice?
They probably get some award. They probably just wanted to be on the ice to see it. Like,
I don't blame him. Yeah, I would do that.
They probably just wanted to see the one. And
let's see, Kyle, who he passed it to. He's passing it to Riley Smith. Cool. One of the Golden Misfits gets to raise Lord Stanley. That's awesome. Good for Riley Smith. Kyle's getting emotional over here in case you haven't noticed.
Oh, no, I'm just watching.
Yeah, he's just watching.
No, it's just cool. So, like, I don't know. It's just cool to watch.
Now Riley Smith's going to pass it to Jonathan Marchessault.
Phil Kessel.
Oh, yeah, you wish. Jonathan Marchessault. So, Kyle, if I were to get a gold Vegas jersey, I feel like I want to get Marchessault. Like, he's like the guy that I like the most on this team. William Karlsson. See, Kyle, I told you, they're going through all the Golden Misfits first. William Karlsson, Wild Bill, who, remember, his first year in Vegas, he scored 40 goals.
He was fucked. He was so good for them.
Also, shout out to the two guys wearing Israel national team hockey jerseys. Don't know where you get. So who's this? It's Braden McNabb. Again, another one of the Golden Misfits. So now my guess is that it's either going to be Shea Theodore or William Carrier next.
Or Alex Pietrangelo.
No, he doesn't count.
Oh, for the
he's not a misfit. No, we got it. Yeah, there you go. Shea Theodore is lifting it now. Gotta love it. And Shea Theodore, who, hot take, I think is going to win a Norris Trophy at some point in his career before it's all said and done.
I totally agree with that. He's so good.
Nate Thomas of the Quack Report is probably punching the air right now because Shea Theodore, former Anaheim Duck. William Carrier, there you go. So all of the Golden Misfits went first. That is great.
I imagine Aiden Hill will get it next, man.
All right, so no, I'm going with Jack Eichel. That's my guess.
Oh, fuck Eichel too, yeah. Oh, yeah, he'll probably get it.
Let's see where he goes. William Carrier's giving it to Alex Pietrangelo.
Wow.
Alex Pietrangelo, who was the captain of the St. Louis Blues, the Gloria 2019 Blues, who, by the way, Kyle, who was the head coach of the Boston Bruins that year?
Bruce Cassidy.
Bruce Cassidy. And Alec Martinez, his third Stanley Cup in the last 11 years. He won two. He won two in LA, and now he gets to win one in Vegas. Who's he passing it to? He's passing it to his old LA Kings teammate, Jonathan Quick. Quickie is lifting the cup.
What a legend.
So good for Jonathan Quick, his third Stanley Cup. Definitely a Hall of Famer. As now, who's he going to? He's thinking about it. He's looking. He's giving it to Chandler Stevenson, who they thought was on the Capitals when they won it in Vegas. He was not.
He was. Oh, he was.
No, this is his first Stanley Cup.
Good for him. Wow.
So good for them. Chandler Stevenson. Let's see where he goes. Oh, there you go. Jack Eichel. In his first year in the Stanley Cup playoffs, he lifts Lord Stanley over his head. He is a Stanley Cup champion.
And Buffalo fans got to hate that.
Connor McDavid's got to hate that.
God, Connor McDavid's got to be pissed.
So, if we're going to still compare, who got the better deal, I guess you'd still say Edmonton, right?
For
McDavid and Eichel.
Well, yeah, because Eichel was picked up by Buffalo. So, yes.
Ivan Barbashev.
Edmonton came out better. Edmonton came out better than Buffalo.
Ivan Barbashev lifting the cup right now. What an acquisition by Vegas at the deadline. They were trying to get Timo Meier. They were unsuccessful, and then they went to Ivan Barbashev. And now, the very big and tall Adin Hill lifts the Stanley Cup over his head.
I can see Phil Kessel. He's in the front.
Phil. I want Phil. We're not leaving until Phil Kessel is the Stanley Cup champion again. Give it to him. There he is. Is it Phil's turn? No. It's Nicholas Waugh. Who scored?
You know
what? Nicholas Waugh is going to be a trivia question. He will be the guy that you could say, who scored the last goal of the Stanley Cup Finals?
And it was Nicholas Waugh. Yeah, and nobody will get it.
Waugh. Yes! It's Phil Kessel!
It's Phil!
Phil the Thrill Kessel for the third time in his career. For the third time in what? Hold on. For the third time in 8 years, Phil Kessel is a Stanley Cup champion.
And he didn't do a fucking thing.
Kolasar. I forgot his first name. Kolasar. He's lifting the cup now. Awesome. Sick number. I don't know why 55 looks cool on him.
Well, do you want to wrap it up, Neil?
Zach Whitecloud. Okay, I just want to say this about Zach Whitecloud. Do you remember when Vegas lost in the conference finals to Dallas?
Yes.
Zach Whitecloud had that terrible penalty delay a game, and you could see he was crying on the bench because that ended it. I'm glad for him. He has no facial hair whatsoever.
He shaved. That bastard.
Nicholas Hague. Wow, that is a tall man.
Well, they're all on skates. So. All right. Let's wrap it up.
I think we've gotten Phil Kessel to lift the Stanley Cup. That's awesome. So on that note, guys, that unfortunately is going to do it for us for the last time. Well, second to last time this season. We got the draft. We got the draft extravaganza coming up. We're going to be doing a couple of giveaways for that one. So make sure you guys are around for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But this was the last game that we got a chance to do. And Kyle, man, it has been a hell of a ride. And I can't wait for the start of next season already.
Same here. It's going to be good. I can't wait. It was awesome doing with you. Thanks, guys, for coming out. And we will see you guys June 28th for the NHL draft. You're looking at your hosts. You're looking at a giveaway that we're not saying quite yet because we're going to have fun giveaways. We're going to have a fun night. We got a lot of stuff planned. We got a lot of people joining, and it's going to be a fucking awesome night.
It will certainly be a lot of fun. But once again, thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you in the next live watch along. Once again, the Vegas Golden Knights have won the Stanley Cup. They've won it in 5 games, beating and blowing out the Florida Panthers tonight by the final score of 9-3. Everyone continue to be the awesome people that you are. And Kyle, as we always say at the end of every live watch along, make sure to rock on.